Good afternoon, welcome along. This is Leicester's LTIDtv and it's the WS Live Watchalong show. Leicester hosting Aston Villa for the second game of the WSL season. It's got to be better than watching England men, hasn't it?
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
This show go okay with no major boobs or goofs.
This is Paul McCartney saying this is where Chris is at. This is where it's at, Chris. Take it.
I'll take it. Thank you, Paul. Welcome along. Excuse me. Let's just say it's not a good time for the men's football at the moment. Leicester City, bottom of the league. I mean, it's early days, but who knows? Relegation. England have just been relegated, playing worse than Leicester City. I think actually Leicester would have beaten that England team. And we've got to look forward, and I think the women, at least, are going to put up a fight. They lost last time out, but they also actually put up a fight. So we had something to be proud of. What we're going to do here is we're just going to add this stream into the corner while we're waiting. Not sure whether Brad's going to be able to join us or not. I'm hoping we will know quite soon. But this was the training session. It's not very long. It's just a little quick video of the Foxes training for the Aston Villa game. We haven't got any live footage of the manager's press conference. I don't know what actually has happened there, but these are the Foxes giving it their all. I mean, we lost 2-1 last week, and I'm going to be honest with you, we played very well. I was proud of the girls. We did play very well. We were unlucky again, not unlike the men's game. They got a wonder goal. It seems like whoever Tottenham turn up against us, it's a wonder goal. But hey-ho. Villa, last time out, well, they won by the single goal, a 7-goal thriller against Manchester City. Now, if they play like that this week, we could be in trouble. We could just be in trouble. But welcome along. Hayden is in the chat. Good afternoon, Hayden. How the devil are you, sir? I hope you are well. If you are in and you are new, please do what it says there. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1.5 before the World Cup, if that is possible. Don't know whether it will be or not. But no, thank you very much. And if you have subscribed, smash the likes. Also, do you fancy something a little bit different? Well, you know me. I am a little bit different. Shut up. Have a look at this.
This is Paul McCartney saying this is where Chris is at. This is where it's at, Chris. Take it.
Broadcasting live worldwide. You're listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
Do not be afraid.
Wait, Batman, there's something I need to say to you.
No, well,
The music just turns me on.
Something is coming. Something
big.
Chris! I'm Chris.
No.
How dare you break wind before me?
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
The best radio station in the world. Is right here, right now.
Yeah, if you like something a little bit different, a bit of music with your footy chat, Leicester Till I Die Radio, you can find us at mixcloud.com. That's all one word, mixcloud.com/LTID radio. Or go to our website, LeicesterTillIDie.com/radio, and the link is in there as well. Just follow us. We do some weird shows. We did one last night, just a bit of fun looking at the start of all the teams. Oh, Alexa, stop interrupt. Honestly, it's a woman. You know she's going to interrupt you. Yeah. Can you say that again? No. So I don't know if you heard that at all. But yeah, we had a good show last night. Yeah, shut up. We looked at the start of the season for the Premier League clubs and we allocated them a song each. Ain't No Pleasing You, It Should Have Been Me, I'm Miserable Now. Oh, so many. Reach for the Stars. It was a laugh, me and Brad. You can find that, like I say, mixcloud.com/LTID radio. So let's just go back and watch the end of the show. What are your score predictions? You know what? The worrying thing is that we survived by one place last season in the WSL. And in fairness, Maisie, who will be doing a lot of WLS shows on a weekly basis with us on a Monday night with me and Lou, she knows a lot more about WSL than I do. And she has got us for finishing bottom. And like I say, we only stayed up last season because Birmingham were worse than us. I mean, that's all you need at the end of the day. But I just wonder how we are going to survive this season. But if you give me a point now, I will take it. I don't know, how you would feel. I'm going to go 1-1. Okay, I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. I'm going to go 1-1. What is everybody else doing? What are you going? 1-1 from me. The kickoff is at 3:00. We have played, I'm just looking at our last 5 games against Villa. And it wasn't so long ago that actually Villa were in the Super League 2, which is obviously where we were before we got promoted with Jonathan Morgan. And our record hasn't been too bad. Hayden's going 2-1 to Leicester. Oh, fingers crossed. I'd take that. You know what? I'd just take a win. I really would, of anything Leicester. But we lost to them last season twice. Both times it was 2-1, both home and away. And then when we were in League 2 together, they beat us 3-1. We got a 0-0 draw and a 1-1 draw. Yeah, it doesn't really say too much, does it? But there we go. Fingers crossed. Arsenal played last night and they won 4-0 against Spurs in the North London derby. And at the moment, it's 0-0 between Brighton and Hove and Reading. Talking about international football, I am now anyway. England are playing tomorrow night. Just to let you know, I am not doing a watch-along for that. To be honest with you, it is just, we're relegated anyway, so it is a totally meaningless match. Yeah, I know it's the Germans, but what is the point of watching a group of players that don't seem to be able to give a damn with a manager that at the moment is making Brendan Rodgers look good? Tune in to Leicester Till I Die TV instead. We've got 2 shows tomorrow. At 7:00, we are going to be talking to Jordan. Indeed. Jordan Blackwell from the Leicester Mercury at 7 o'clock. We're talking about what's going wrong down Filbert Way. And then at 9 o'clock, we've got Olwyn from BBC Radio Leicester joining us. And again, talking about what is going wrong down at Leicester. So 2 very good shows tomorrow night, 7 and 9. I do hope you can join us. Like I say, if you are subscribed, just press the notification bell and you'll get reminders when we go live. If you haven't, then give us a subscribe and do what it says there. And again, click the notification bell and you will get those notifications through. Yeah, it's going to be better than watching England, hasn't it? And I always like talking to. They know more than we do. They're in there at the press conferences. They know what they're talking about, and whether the managers and whatever you do or not. But they always have that little bit of an insight. So it's going to be interesting. So 7 o'clock, Jordan Blackwell from the Leicester Mercury and Leicestershire Live. And at 9 o'clock, it's Olwyn from BBC Radio Leicester. And it's got to be better than England. It really has. So Hayden's going 2-1 Leicester. What's everybody else doing now, Hayden? I'm just checking when Brad is coming in, but yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. Brighton and Hove are now leading Reading 1-0. Lee has given the home side the lead. It is 1-0 to Brighton and Hove Albion over Reading. Both of them last season, mid-table, so not much between them there. And that was after 39 minutes. Lee Gummin, there we go, has got the goal. At 3 o'clock kickoffs, Leicester City are hosting Aston Villa. West Ham are hosting Manchester United. Chelsea are hosting Manchester City. Ooh, yeah. Guess which one's on the telly? And Liverpool are hosting Everton. Yeah. Liverpool are actually their first season up. They got promoted last season, but they beat Chelsea. Now, that is no mean feat, and total respect to Liverpool for coming up and managing to do that. Because, like I say, Chelsea are all powerful in the Women's Super League. And I think for them to come up as a newly promoted side, that's only going to be looking good. Because it wasn't so long ago they were a Premier League side, and then obviously they did go down. But yeah, Liverpool upsetting the apple cart, and Aston Villa as well last week when they beat Manchester City 4-3. I watched a little bit of that game, and I wish I'd watched it all because it was a cracker. It was a cracker. Fancy a bit of fun coming up within the next couple of weeks. We've got a special with it's a Merseyside special because we've got Elton Wellesby, who used to be ITV's answer to Jeff Stelling, and he will be on with Stan Boardman. You got him. For those of a certain age, Germans. Yeah, the Germans bombed a chip shop. I can't do a Scouse accent. We'll pre-record. Not that I don't trust Elton, but I definitely don't trust Stan. And if you're PC, yeah, please don't tune in because you won't enjoy it. That will be sometime over the next couple of weeks. So I'm just waiting on the players coming out. Last 5 games, let's have a look what they've been doing here. There's a win. No, I thought there was another goal. Brighton have definitely been the better team, apparently. So let us have a look and see what we've got for the recent games. And I'll just give him a second just to line himself up. But Brad has joined us now. I'm just trying to find the. Here we go. So Leicester City's last. I'll ask Brad to give me a wave when he's ready, and then he's ready now. The doctor is going, hello. Let's get him in. Hello. Oh, look at that. You're very small there, sir. Let me see what I can do to you. There we go.
There we go. That's a bit better.
Don't spread the rumours that I made you big, though, whatever you do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best I can say to that, really.
No. Have you had a few problems? I had a few problems. I'm not going to be honest with you, lied to you with the FA player.
I haven't had any problems with that. It was more the issue with I was running Football Manager, and I was obviously my laptop can't run it. Now I've had issues with it, and the whole laptop crashed when trying to save it, so I've had to give up the ghost on playing that. But it wouldn't close it down, and I had to figure a way around it. And I force crashed it, and it was still loaded up, and I sorted it out. So I know I can't use that now. And I took a little bit extra because what I've got on my screen, not that you can see it at the one pointing like you can see it, but I've got the line up with the numbers and the names next to them, so it'll help me with commentary today instead of going the blonde one they're wearing number 16 is.
Yes. When she went off, you were really buggered, weren't you?
Yeah, I had my star player there. I know who she was.
I've gone 1-1. Hayden's gone 2-1 to Leicester. How do you think it's going to go, Brad?
Listen, if the girls apply themselves in the way they did in the opening game against Spurs, I don't see why they can't win it. Look, Villa got a surprise win. Congratulations, Sam. It was a really big result. It's probably the shock of the weekend, opening weekend, and that. But Leicester have to just go with the confidence of how they played for the majority of that game, and I think they'll come out 2-0 winners.
Well, God, we'll take that. Excuse me. I was just looking at the past games between us. We've never actually beaten them in the last 5 games, although the last 3 were in the second tier. But last season they did the double over us, both scores being 2-1 to Villa.
Yeah, well, break a trend and all
that. Yeah, that was last season. Who remembers last season,
Well, we've done a great escape as well, I think, by the time we played them the second time around. So
just go on and win the damn thing this season then, isn't it?
That's what it's easy, ladies. You got that first defeat out of the way. Treat that as your Arsenal game like we did when we lost 5-2. Rest is all yours.
But, I'm just looking at our last 5 games, and the form's not been brilliant. I know we've only played 1 game this season, which obviously we lost 2-1 to Leicester. But the girls, they absolutely put up a brilliant performance. I only wish the men could do that.
Yeah, this season right now, I suppose it's been a bit critical because the men have performed well in parts of games, and some games have performed well throughout. It's just not gone well on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but you also remember that Leicester only needed to accumulate 8 points or 10 points it was in the end to secure their safety, which in this division, being there's only 12, there's only 12 teams in it, it's more based on the Scottish format than it is the men's style of 20 plus in the division. But they did well. It was the improvement throughout that season from the first 8 games where they changed the manager. Morgan deserves all the credit he's got. He
kept that club going, him and his family.
He's the reason we're even able to call ourselves a women's team in the Women's Super League because of what he did. But once that change was made, and sometimes it has to be made in that case, the improvements instantly came with the results as well, didn't they? And that was vital to Leicester's. It wasn't a glamorous running where Leicester needed to go and win 4 of the last 5 games, and they did so to do it. It's not a bit anticlimactic in that way, but in terms of survival, especially given it was their first season, they did it the way they needed to, and that's what they need to be building on this season. And despite that defeat, Chris, I would say it was a very positive game from. A result aside, a very positive performance to put in against a Spurs side.
It was another one of those where, and I think we said at the time, I thought, and you did as well, that we were still in that game, and then it was a Tottenham wonder goal again, as if we're not fed up with them.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, these things happen in football. You can't do too much about it. You can analyse and look at what you may have done to prevent it from happening, but as far as it going from the connection of the foot into the net, you credit both goals. There wasn't really much else Leicester could do about to stop them from that point onwards. But if they can stop them things from building up and happening in the first place, there's no reason why they won't get more than enough wins, probably even earlier in the season, to be looking at the table and going, yeah, we're going to be all right this season again, and we can keep improving.
Yeah, and just looking at our last 5 games, I say we lost to Tottenham 2-1. Tottenham were also our last game last season. We lost 1-0. We did draw 0-0 with Reading. Manchester City put 4 past us and Arsenal put 5 past us, but then Arsenal put 5 past Tottenham yesterday. So you could, I mean, looking at the table last season, yes, there was a gulf between us and the other teams, wasn't there?
Yeah, but also again, you look at the improvement, and it does. You look at it, sounds bad. You go, oh, not a win in there, but wins were very, 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 very few and far between for Leicester, and Birmingham as well. The other team that we were pretty much fighting it out to stay up with. I think they only got 3 between them. And you look at who they played. Man City had a dreadful start to their season with their injuries, but ended up coming second. So that was expected. Arsenal were destroying teams left, right, and centre, and that was expected. Spurs, 1 goal, bit unfortunate again. Probably were like they were in the opening game of the season. And then you look at Reading, who got absolutely hammered, and they're playing today, I believe, against Brighton's ladies. But they got hammered.
They're losing 1-0 at the moment,
and they're losing that game. So Leicester will look at them results and go, well, hold on, if we can get even a draw here, I know it's at home and you prefer 3 points, but to get a draw here, they're already starting better than the team they got a draw against last season. So
yes,
that's what they'll be aiming for.
And I think as well, yeah, I know football's not played on paper. Of course it isn't. We know
not unless it's paper football.
This is true. Yes. But it's not played on a Sabutio pitch. But then, do you know what? You look at these games, and we know it doesn't always work out that way because the men are sat bottom of the table with only 1 point. But there are games you look at, and you think pretty much this is going to be Chelsea, Man City, and probably I don't know Man United, but those 2 teams definitely you would look at that and go, yeah, we ain't going to get anything from them unless it's a miracle. But Villa, it is a game you would look at and hope to possibly get something, especially with us being at home again.
Yeah, again, you play the home advantage. You look at the performance of the opening week against a team that you would consider very capable of challenging the mix at the top, or at least finishing in them positions year on year out. So you take that, you learn from it. Lydia would have definitely probably approached that in a post match and has been working on it ever throughout the weeks. The girls came up looking a bit disheartened, but also very confident in the performance. I think they there wasn't like a drop of the shoulders like the probably was for that first season, because that first season's difficult to mentally manage. This one, they'll come with the expectation they've had a year. I think the response will be a lot better, and I think they'll be aiming obviously for 3 points, but they'll definitely be looking to get their season up and running with a point on the board. If they get 3 points, they'll have more than the men's team already. So maybe that's what Lydia said. Let's show the men how to win a game of football, and that would be. Well, I'd use it as a bit of motivation, even if it is said with tongue in cheek.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, we always said last week, didn't we? Let's hope the men are watching it.
Yeah. Maybe put Lydia at 77-1, just behind. No, 60-1, so she's ahead of Graham Potter in the running for the job.
Yeah. This is her. I think this is her first manager's job, Lydia. She got a pro license, UEFA pro license in 2019. On the 30th of November 2021, Leicester City announced the appointment of Bedford as first team manager. And then she officially started her role on the 6th of December. And then she re-signed a 2-year contract on the 5th of July this year. I'm looking, I thought she would have been a manager somewhere else as well.
I can't quite remember what it is she's done beforehand. But when she was appointed, I know it was the first. I think it's the first role she's had the manager experience in terms of into the main league. She may have done elsewhere, but I mean, it's paid off, isn't it? She's obviously, you know, it's not. You can't imagine it's a wild card of a signing like if it was. Me, if it was me or you getting hired to replace Rodgers, that would be very much a wild card on that basis. Yeah. But she obviously comes with lots of experience of the game, and you can see that by the way, the way things improved in dramatic, effect.
Yeah, just reading here. While Bedford does not work abroad, as some managers have, she has extensive experience coaching with the England girls' youth teams. She was most recently lead coach for the under-17s, as well as overseeing the development of other age groups, where she has developed qualities and techniques to help her in her first senior role. So this is a first senior role.
Yes.
But it's good to see that she's had that experience.
And you look at them credentials, and people might think it's weird, Chris, but I think that's really good that Leicester looked at that credentials because she's worked with youngsters, and I would say handling youngsters is just as difficult as handling a new team stepping up to the main stage for the first time ever, because that's nerve-wracking, and that's, again, you look at the mentality, and it's not to say that, all the players are coming out at the King Power, Chris.
Yes, they are. I'm about a second behind you. Well, this is, and we'll just play this first. This is the Leicester Till I Die TV Watchalong show. This is Brad at Full Time Focus and on Twitter, and a Matter of Opinion on YouTube. Give him your support on both of those outlets. But this is the Watchalong.
Till I Die Watch Along show. Join in the chat and don't forget to subscribe.
Please don't. I love the fact that one of the Villa players was caught out there in the handshake. She was talking to her mate and then set off without her.
I did notice that our sub-goalkeeper is called Poor. I hope that's not an omen if she ever has to come on.
Well, she wasn't last week, in fairness. And glad to see your alarm still working.
I know, right? They're behind. Come on, kick off, 3 o'clock.
You're the team.
Yes.
Is it the same? I think it looks pretty much the same team as last week.
No, it's not. And I only know that because I remember 27 O'Brien, because I remember the number for Castagne. She came on as a substitute, O'Brien. So her impressive display when she came on as a substitute has earned her a start. I believe, however, the rest of the 11 is out there is the same that lined up. I'll get better as my day is doing a watch along for the women.
No. But I know compared to me down here. I tell you, don't worry about it. But
it looks like Leicester have won the kickoff, the shaking hands. Leicester are attacking what would be known as the family stand to those in there, or the North stand if you really want to be on political. Aston Villa just in the huddle there, we attacking the goal known as the Sion Cup at the King Power, because that's where the game is today, Chris. Another nice gathering crowd in the West Stand, isn't it, Chris?
Is. And I've got to say to both the Spurs and Arsenal fans, well done yesterday for a record for a WSL game. I think it was over 47,000. So I don't think we've quite got up to those numbers today, but there was a picture on the Leicester City website. Jean and Sean, if you were watching, Jean and Sean Scotchbrook, I saw your picture on the website. You can't hide. It's a good job you weren't. Yeah, it's a good job you weren't nicking off work. Leicester to kick off then, Brad.
Yeah, and it looks like they are just taking the knee, and it will be Pike, the number 8 for Leicester. She will get us underway now as the players rise from taking a knee, as they do prior to any kickoff around the footballing world. Referee takes one more look at
ahead of me. I think you were slightly ahead of me.
Yeah, it's not just kicked off just yet. The referee takes another look at a watch, and now the game's underway. Leicester go down the left-hand side to get numbers forward.
And literally, I think I'm about 5 seconds behind you.
Are you? I do apologise. But yeah,
no. Well, like I always say, it's very rare. I mean, funnily enough, with the Notts Forest guy, when we did the England game, we were actually dead on. But that's the first time I've ever known it. So this is as close as we're going to get it. So I'm just on 20 seconds now.
Yeah, 27 seconds, and Leicester have won themselves. No, it's been given a signal to Villa thrown, but it's right near the corner of the game end. Leicester
having a bit of fun with the flag there.
Yeah. And Leicester's showing that early four-player press there, Chris. Can you see that happening? They're pressing Villa well, just like they did Spurs early on in the game. Obviously, Leicester looking to try and affect the game early on, Chris.
I think I always say, attack is
That's
the best.
Pass there, though, Chris. Sorry, wait there. Sorry, Chris. Villa with a chance to get numbers in here. It's 2-on-2. She's crowded out well by the Leicester defence. So the number 20 for Villa crowded out by Howard. In the end, she gets a superb block in there, just as it looked like Villa were getting the numbers forward. We do have our first corner of the game, and it does go to Aston Villa, Chris. That was a little bit scary.
A wayward pass. Just saying, if anybody wants to watch this along with us, FA Player, just search the Women's WSL League, and you can find it on the FA Player, and you can watch it free of charge.
Yeah, as Leicester try and get away with the ball, but it is regrouped by Villa. They're back on halfway with number 2 now. It's spread out to the left. It's actually through the middle. And that could be a penalty. That surely is. Is it? The referee says no penalty. No, she has given the penalty. The referee has given the penalty. Thought about it. The referee has given the penalty. And again, they put it in that area, Chris, where they just got the corner from. They got caught flat-footed. Trying to see who the culprit is there. I believe it's number. I can't see the numbers that clearly, but she just got caught flat-footed. She tried to get in front of the number 20 for Villa. She does go into the back for Chris. It is a shoulder check. The referee took a bit of time, but in the end, he has deemed it worthy of a penalty. And early setback here for Leicester potentially. The goalkeeper Lavelle will have to try and psych the Villa goalkeeper striker out here. Has Villa have no chance to make it 1-0, Chris?
I'm afraid they do.
Here
Just seeing it on something else. I mean, we literally less than 3 minutes, and we've just
start. Here we go. The penalty stoked up, and she sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. Villa have an early lead. Not ideal to Leicester. They got caught twice on the flat-footed on that left-hand side, and this time bundled over in the box. It was a clear penalty. Lavelle tried to psych her out, but it's a very good penalty then, Chris, and unfortunately it is Leicester City Women's 0, Aston Villa Women's 1.
Not the best of starts at all. Good evening, talk. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day. Talk. Let's cover all options. Welcome along. Guys, go and give talk. He does a great channel for charity, Football versus Cancer. And we know who we want to win that one. It's the same on Twitter, and it's the same on the YouTube as well. The details are in the description below. Go and show him your support. A good friend of the channel, and give him the support that's there. If you forget what it is, like I say, it is in the description below.
Let's have a chance, Chris.
We've got it all to do now, isn't it?
Yeah, but let's have a chance, though, Chris. They've kept pressure on the left-hand side. Sorry to interrupt there, but they kept the pressure on the left-hand side. They actually kicked off the exact same way they started the game, Chris. They tried to put that ball straight out to the left-hand side to put Aston Villa inside on the back foot. They didn't quite get it right, and they actually got it exactly wrong because inevitably it ended up leading to the goal for Villa. But this time they got it right, and they just got into the box where the ball was cut out by the Villa defence. But it's obviously a tactic they deployed early against Spurs, and they're deploying it early in this one where they're trying to push Villa back as far as possible and get the numbers forward quick, Chris. It's looking good here. Appeals from the Aston Villa players, not given for a throw-in, dipped into the box, not really to anybody. And then I believe a flag's gone up. Yeah, it has. The ball apparently had already gone out of play. A late flag by the lineswoman there. Took a while, but Leicester do have a throw-in again. So that was a strange one because they played on quite well there, and then all of a sudden the referee obviously may have noticed an official flag.
Yeah.
Free kick here for Leicester after bundled 2 women on her. She went down. It's James Madison-esque one free kick this. For the ladies.
Surprised to see a male ref.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think all formats of officials, the officials officiating seems to be better in the women's game. So maybe if they are officiating here as well, gender aside, it should be where they start.
Yes.
I haven't seen the shirt number of the free kick taker, but she puts the ball into a good area. Leicester City women attack the ball, bouncing around, can't quite get it clear, but then Villa do hook it away. But now, this is going to get tidied up, hopefully by Simon. It's hoofed rather aggressively into the stands. I'm just trying to get used to names so I don't have to keep looking at the team sheet, but that was well dealt with by, I'm going to pronounce it Simon because that's how it looks on the team sheet.
I'd agree with you on that. Again, a thing I've noticed against Leicester, and we know, let's be honest, we only just survived relegation last season, but it's just that touch, they seem to sort of quite often.
They've just done it there, giving it away to number 20. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I mean, where what was that ball? It's like,
Again, it just shows that difference level of experience and not having it. That's a looped-in ball that's gone way out of play, easily dealt with. The cross did come to nothing. But yeah, Chris, I think that's something the Leicester fans are going to have to expect this season. They're far from a finished article. It is only their second game into a second season into a very, very competitive Women's Super League. And they're going to have to be bracing these mistakes. What they're going to have to do is just try and limit them, because as we saw in the Tottenham game, whether it was lucky or not, when them spaces were created, the ball ended up in the net. Unless they can't afford to find themselves 2-0 down in this game, they've got to
not
keep that
this
press
early.
going.
No, I am worried that if we concede another one too soon, is how the heads go down. Well, I mean, that's just going to be let out. Oh no, she stopped it going out there.
Yeah, I mean, Lydia won't allow. I don't think she'll allow that to happen, and I don't think she's afraid to make changes to that. You saw her change, I know it's a foreign concept in the men's game with Brendan Rodgers at charge, but she wasn't afraid to make the changes as often as she could and do as much as she could to try and force the occasion against Tottenham. So she won't have any doubts if Villa start to overrun this game, having this lead early, of changing it regardless of the scoreline. So we're taking a while over this throwing, Chris. Villa are definitely conservatively pressing back, which is actually making it difficult for Leicester to go forward here. As they give this thrown away, Villa have it now. This brilliantly threaded ball through, but that's well shepherded out by, I believe, Simon. I'm going to call her Simon, even though it sounds weird saying it, but that's the name I'm going for. If someone wants to correct me how to pronounce it in the comments down below, because I can't hear other commentators saying it, obviously, so I'm just going on that. But I was well shielded and already. She seems to be anchoring the defence well next to in that backline pairing. Villa are coming down the right here. That ball seemed to have a lot of time to decide what she wanted to do with that, and she decided to give it back to Leicester. Thankfully, the Leicester ladies will be happy with that.
That was that's what Leicester players have been doing. But thanks for that, Villa.
Definitely a sign of having too much time on your hands and not knowing what to do with a ball. It was very casually given away, wasn't it, Chris?
Just a little bit.
Leicester trying to get him down this left-hand side. The number 16 for Villa, Tyler, is that back up though to the goalkeeper, and Leicester seem to want to allow Villa to play this out the back. That's a trend picked up over the years, isn't it, Chris? Playing it out from the back.
You know my thoughts on that.
Oh, and that's a bit rash. We might see a first card of the game here. There was a harsh tackle on Perfield here, the number 23 for Leicester. She's just jogging it off at the sideline. She doesn't seem to be too hurt by it. I'm guessing it's just precaution. She's going to get the ball as well, so just jogging off. But it was a bit meaty of a challenge, for lack of a better terminology there, from the Villa midfielder.
Let them know we're here,
Well, yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. I thought I saw. No, it is actually going to be Perfield that takes the free kick. She's obviously the set piece taker. Second one she's looked to take, number 14, Green has come short, but she's been ushered away. So it's Perfield to send it into the Villa box. It's crossed in. Head's gone up, head flicked on, and it's just wide. I didn't quite see who it was that got the contact, but Chris, we saw them deadly from set pieces in both conceding, unfortunately, but attacking wise against Tottenham, showing their threat and work on set pieces. Set piece coach for Brendan, set piece coach for Brendan. I'll say no more, but a good chance there, good response from Leicester. 8 minutes to go behind from a penalty.
I mean, this is it. You know, we've come back out attacking. You know, we're not.
They nicked the ball here, Chris. They nicked the ball here, Chris. Sorry to prove your point. They are doing so. Tussling. Number 4 to 13. The defender goes down. Advantage play to Leicester. Come across the box. Hit across the box. Oh, that was lovely work by Simone. I'm going to call Simone. It just sounds more natural. She cut the ball across the box.
Why didn't number 16 just stick her foot out?
Yeah, she must have thought there was a call behind her because she did freeze on there. Was waiting to see a latch on. If she had a Chris, it was a goal. Leicester were going to be back on level terms.
Yes,
but as it is, they're now back in their own half with a throw in and building on this right hand side again. Chris, you're right. They're staying on that front foot.
Yeah, well, no, we seem to become just as I say that we seem to be going down the one side. We play it out to the near side, but this is excellent because yes, we've gone the goal down. We've gone the goal down very early, but we're letting Villa know, like you're going to get a game. We're not just here to make the numbers up.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what they did throughout the Tottenham game, and it nearly paid off from here. Again, they win it high up in the pitch here, Leicester. It's spread out wide It was spread out wide by Pipe, but it was intercepted. But Leicester won it back here. But now Villa also have it cut out with their number 8, I believe it was, possibly 18. But she's been harried and hurried there by Plumtree, who's up front for Leicester today. Referee's letting a lot of things go. It's nice to see in a game of football. A brilliant tackle there by Plumtree. Unfortunately, the tackle went straight, sent the ball in a neat straight line to the goalkeeper. But that aggression and letting Villa know they're there early doors, mimicking that they're not going to change what they did against Spurs and Harrow and Villa. Impressive response despite the early setback, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Good interception there. I don't know who it is in the black boots, but it was Rachel Daly that got the penalty. Obviously, fresh from success during the summer.
Yes. Obviously, that's the sort of person you want taking the penalty, but it was just one of them. It happened twice in 2 minutes, and that would be disappointing for Lydia, and I'm sure she'll no doubt pick up on that because that was twice, Chris, that the villain got in on that left hand side, and the gap between Simon and I believe it was Jones. I could have been wrong with the number. I'd have to see the replay again just to make sure. They kind of didn't know which one to go near and push it out. And when the decision was made, it was the one that was always playing catch up. It was, I believe it was Simon. She was always playing catch up. And unfortunately, that decision. But let's have a chance here. Edge of the box, they've stolen the ball there. Doesn't take it down. Oh, it's just fired wide. And they're the chances that you feel Leicester really have to start taking. It was
making the goalkeeper work, though.
Yeah, she does make the goalkeeper work, Chris, and she does everything right. You know, she could have hit that first time, but the defender saw it. But that was O'Brien with the shot there. She got the ball in a great position. Again, the pressure, the misplaced pass worked for Leicester. The high line that they showed was absolutely fantastic. And she won the ball and she had the shot, Chris. She came inside, which meant the Villa defender, she had to try and track her. She was off angle, so she knew she was going to hit it across the goal, just off target. Brilliant chance
to say that for those watching as well, we've now got graphics up. They didn't work at all last week. Nobody had the graphics, but it's nice to see we've got graphics this week.
Brilliant work here by Leicester. Brilliant hustle. Great tackle flying in there. She's got a white armband on over back there. I cannot see her shirt number to tell you who it is. But number 14 there was one in the press green. She was there. She gets the ball here from the throw-in. Really impressed by the hustle and bustle that Leicester are showing, pressing like a three-player press on each Villa midfielder. It's where they've gained the most success early in this half, despite being 1-0 down, Chris.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Luke is in. Hope them the true red here, Luke. Hope the men in Rogers are watching this to try and get help see what he can implement in his side to get a result and improve. Obviously not on Monday or for the reverse fixture. I tell you what, it was the other Luke, the other Forest fan called Luke, that nicknamed it the El Sacchio a week on Monday.
Oh, wow. It's not far wrong off the truth, is it, really? I think that's how Sky is seeing it. As again, Leicester's press, they win the ball in the midfield here, Chris. Again, testament to their effort to run around. And they've won a free kick in. It is a free kick. And I think we might actually see our first card of the game. The referee does have his notebook out. The physio is being ushered on. And I believe the referee, or I don't know, he's put his hand back in his pocket. He is calling the player over. Yeah, we're going to see the first card of the game, Chris. And it was rash. And Villa have shown in a few meaty tackles. There, you get the first yellow card to the number 7, I believe, of Aston Villa. If you have both team sheets there. Yes, it is. Number 7 for Villa has just been booked. Lehmann, Jens Lehmann. No, it's not that Lehmann, but the name is spelled the same. Lehmann has been booked for Aston Villa. Not the former Arsenal goalkeeper. It's the number 7 women's player. She's been booked for a pretty meaty challenge, and they got away with one earlier. I thought maybe the referee was doing that, it's early in the game, I'll let it slide thing, but fair play to the referee. Another one come in, another free kick to Leicester.
Just to sidetrack while they're doing the free kick, because True Red is in, I think it'd be very unlucky that if Steve Cooper was to get the sack after, if they lost on Monday.
Don't make them the same mistakes that other manager teams do, because that doesn't always work for them. It only works if the manager really is the rat in the dressing room, like Scott Parker causing mischief and causing fight.
Yeah, they don't want him to go, but apparently the owner also owns Olympiakos, I think it is, in Greece. I'm sure Luke will correct me if I'm wrong. And he appointed a manager in the summer, and he's just sacked him. So, yes.
And Cambiasso was linked with that job, so who knows? Maybe Cambiasso will come back and manage.
He is coaching. Anyway,
let's get back on the left with a crossing from Green. A header comes down. It's not cleared. See, I'm trying to get better at these names. I looked at the shirt number and went for the name on my screen. But it has been forced out here. Leicester are creating chances, half chances, granted, Chris, but they need to. This is another part of the game they'll have to realise as well. They need to start turning these half chances into chances, and they need to start making these chances count. Because that's what put them essentially a goal behind for Tottenham instead of being 1-up, in my opinion, Chris.
And I think in this game, if it hadn't been for the penalty, Leicester are the better team and the team on top, in my opinion.
Yeah, this opening 18 minutes has been very well controlled and very well pressed for Villa, although they have just won themselves a free kick. But again, you have to say that is great harrowing by Jones. Now, we do have a few Jones in this team. I think we've got 2 Jones and I believe it could be Green. All 3 of them are Welsh, I believe. They're not. I don't know if the Joneses are related. I'm not saying that just because their last name is Welsh.
Be careful. But
it is a very common Welsh name. But yeah, I know that is.
I just want to get my lawyers on the phone just in case.
Yeah, well, if they speak Welsh, you won't understand what they say. It's fine. But no, it is Jones that they're harried the decision. But yeah, again, I have to agree with you, Chris. Just like they were against Tottenham, controlling the game, having the far better of the chances. And we are talking uber critical here, but they just need to be a bit more critical in front of goal. As again, they steal a march here, although Villa do have the numbers back. But that is superb work there by Jones. She held the ball up and allowed the ladies to get the numbers forward. They are still working it in the middle of the park, Chris, but they've got the numbers forward. As that's now given to Pike, who spreads the ball out wide here for Leicester. And now they're just slowly, patiently building it up. They're not. Yes, but they're not. They're not being, rushed into anything as they come now down the right with Simone on the ball. Good cross into the box. Unfortunately, a bit too much height on it and not enough to get over the goalkeeper. And she does come and collect. But again, that's not, rushing the process, Chris. And it may feel like it with Simon's cross as she crossed it into the box there, but. You look at the bodies, we're forcing Villa to play a very rigid and very flat 4-4. They're very close together, that midfield and defence. And until really about now and that first couple of minutes, Leicester have done very well to keep that where they want it. And that's what you've got to do with that chance. Although the flag hasn't gone up here, Villa have gotten behind, but Leicester's numbers just about get that clear out to left, and that's probably the only thing Leicester have struggled with is being caught maybe a little bit flat-footed and loose balls like just there. But aside from that, they are dealing with pushing.
I was about to say, what a nice breakout, and then they went and gave the ball away. But Villa, they're getting a bit nasty, Villa.
Yeah, they are. And again, that's a third challenge that's been a bit late. It's the number 20 this time, and that is, I believe, Jones down, and she's staying down for a while. Now, the referee's going to have a word again. Now, you've just seen your teammate book, Chris. I don't know about you, but I'd maybe ease off how quickly and harsh I'm going in on a challenge. You've just seen your first yellow card, and we know that when that happens, when repeat offenders happen, the cards can come thick and fast. Yeah. Got to hope
away with it, and I'm not. I've seen a lot of those being given.
Yeah. Now I have to make a correction. It is actually Howard that's down. I thought that was a 6, not a 5. I read it as 16, so it is Howard.
Aren't that easy to read, are they?
Yeah, no, they're not. It is her that's down, so the manager's taking a chance to
a long
grab
time
a few words with her players. Yeah, that we're hoping that it's just an impact injury and it's something that the good old magic sponge can fix, Chris, and maybe sneak an orange onto her together.
I was about to say, let's not forget the odd orange here and there.
Yeah, sneaking that on. As you can see there, the players taking a drinks break and taking some instructions from Lydia.
I said this last time. Seeing players in black boots on, it just doesn't look so odd.
I know it does compared to the days of the 80s and the 90s when that's all they wore. Yes. I mean, Chris, what instructions, if you were Lydia, what would you be saying to them during this break? Would you be telling them just to keep it as, or do you think there's anything Leicester maybe need to just change a bit?
I think you've always got to be. The problem I have is that we always screen for substitutions, but I don't think that is needed at the moment. I think Leicester, they've had more possession since we went behind, although I say it was only 3 minutes into the game. I just carry on, but just make sure that when you're passing the ball, that you're looking where it's going, because sometimes they do seem to just be playing it into space, and there isn't the Leicester player there, or the Leicester player's having to work too hard to get to it. But no, keep it up, keep attacking, because at the end of the day, I mean, it says that we've had 2 shots each. And I don't think that's true, because I think Leicester have had more shots than that. But no, keep it up, girls. Keep it up, because, if you don't keep it up, you're not going to get anything. But if you do, that's when it happens.
Yeah,
definitely. Again.
Are you seeing a replay, Chris?
Oh, is a replay? Was it?
Possibly, Chris. Being a few seconds behind, you probably are.
It was a replay, but it didn't look, in my defence, it didn't look like the same challenge.
Yeah. Thankfully, Howard is back on, and Leicester going down. They're favouring that left-hand side. I believe it's Pike with the ball. She tries to feed it in to the number 15. I believe that's Howard. Apologies if I'm getting these names and shirts wrong. But it's Pike out with the ball. She plays the ball off the number 8, but it somehow bounces its way and stays in play. But no free kick given here. Leicester still have the ball. It's a ball crossed into the box. It's a dangerous area. Leicester really are trying to exploit that option. And the ball doesn't fully clear. Leicester get a foot on it again and another foot on it. It comes out to the number 13, and Leicester try and shimmy a shot. It's blocked. There's another shot. It's blocked again. Leicester throwing everything at Villa here. But Villa, numbers behind the ball, desperately trying to keep them out. And Chris, Villa holding on right now by a thread to this 1-0 lead. It has to be said the way Leicester are pressing the issue here, Chris.
They are. I mean, they look. It's last-ditch defending this by Villa. They don't look confident. They don't look confident.
Yeah, they're coming forward again. It was brilliantly won back there. I mean, she didn't hear anybody coming behind her. She stole a march on her. Oh, and after all that, commentators cursed her, played the ball to the box, and it's just a little bit out. But again, Leicester win it back here, Chris. It's constant. They're always making up for the errors that they seem to be making, and it's great to see them here as they play the ball down the left. That wasn't quite read by the Leicester player there, and the ball is safely with the goalkeeper for Aston Villa. But this press, it caused problems for Tottenham throughout the 90 minutes, and it's certainly causing Villa problems, because I would very much say, even as a neutral, if they're watching this and you don't support either of these teams, you would say Leicester don't deserve to be 1-0 behind, even though they find themselves in such a position, Chris.
No. I mean, it was a stupid challenge. It was a penalty. There's no getting away from that. But it was a clumsy, naive challenge, I think I would say. But we've seen that happen for Leicester, the men's team, and they go down another goal very quickly.
Brilliant pressure there. Sorry to cut you up there, Chris, because Leicester have just won their first corner game. That was great pressure, and I've noticed this, Chris. I don't know if you've noticed this throughout both games, as the corner's going to be taken by Perfield here.
Don't worry about interrupting me, mate, because you are in advance of me, but it was a good header, that.
Yeah. You see, like, they are preferring that left-hand side, aren't they? It was very quick. It was very deliberately down that left, that flick on, and Pike won that corner well as it comes into the box. There is a header. The heads go up. It's still not fully clear. There's a chance at a half volley. She's on the stretch. It was, and Villa do get it clear. But Leicester are coming again. Leicester really favouring that left side. I know Villa's.
We said this last week, didn't we?
Yeah. It is also a weak area, though, for Leicester, as we have seen that Villa's two best opportunities, one that did bring the penalty and their half chance and their chance before the penalty. Villa won a cheap free kick there. They're obviously thinking enough rolling around on their own, they'll get the free kick, and the referee does give one. But it is also a weakness, Chris, and that's probably the next area that Leicester would want to work on, and probably doing so on the training ground. You'd imagine, but that is where Villa have also been getting joy. So Leicester do have to be mindful a bit more to not get too stretched. And so far, minus that opening 5 minutes, although Villa are coming down the left here, and they are stretched, as I said. Here, Villa, they get a good ball across the box, but Leicester go for the option of getting numbers back instead of out to the ball, and it pays off because the numbers outshadowed Villa. They weren't able to get bodies forward quicker here, but they have won the ball back, and they have it on the right hand side. A step inside brings it to the number 7. That's a lovely little flick to get the 1-2, and now the number 7 tries to play the ball back to the number.
That was a nice flick.
Number 2 or number 6? Weird shirts. I hate watching on the
number 2 if you're talking about Villa. Just to say, it's all Reading at the moment. They're still 1-0 down, but it's all Reading. And Manchester United have had a goal disallowed away to West Ham. So it's still 0-0 there, but they've had a goal disallowed, Man United.
Oh, wow. That's one of them. Was that for offside? Because obviously we know, if people don't know, as far as I'm aware of and you're aware of, Chris, there is no VAR there as Leicester
the flag went up immediately.
Oh, did it? Okay, then. That's good then. Leicester break up there. And again, Villa are making the mistakes to allow, let's save Leicester's blushes at times, Chris. But again, when Villa do look dangerous down that left-hand side. Don't get me wrong. When they go down that left-hand side, they have looked dangerous. It has been an area of weakness that the Tottenham exploited. But Leicester look far better, Chris, as Leicester have a chance now here with, I will get later, Simon. She's got down to the ball and she's pulled it back across the 6-yard box. But there's 4 Villa players on 1 Leicester player. And she goes for a spectacular, and then unfortunately the coming together results in a free kick. It was O'Brien who went for the mini overhead kick there. You're probably just seeing it, Chris. And again, one thing.
She didn't have a lot of choice, though, did she really?
No, she didn't. And the one thing that you may criticise at the moment is Simon she seems to be very quick, because they're struggling to catch up with her. Villa had 4 players around O'Brien there, or in and around her vicinity, and there wasn't really another Leicester shirt in the box.
No.
Maybe they need to just get a little bit more intense on the press in the foot line. And I appreciate that, finding the balance between not being overcommitted and getting the press right, but just maybe take approach B when the numbers down. There's a foul here, is there? Yeah, clearly a foul. You shoved her in the back, love. That's definitely a foul. It's a silly one. It's a needless one as well. She wasn't going anywhere. It was only going to go back to the goalkeeper. The number 8 just shoved the Leicester defender in the back, and now she's playing silly buggers.
I said after the Women's Euros that I didn't think that the women's players were that dirty, but Villa in this one, they've proven me wrong.
Maybe sometimes in certain teams, a Villa can't change their, a Leopard can't change their spots, and that seems to be the case. As the number 19 for Villa, they're not so aggressive this time, but brought down Plumtree, niggling away at her, persistent fouling, I believe the term is, and Leicester have a chance to start. I wonder if Villa have, and whether you agree with it or not, are using that tactic employed to stop Leicester getting the numbers advantage when going forward, because like our last attack there, Chris, the ball was brilliantly put across the edge of the 6-yard box, which is clearly something, how Lydia wants the women to go about trying to get goals, putting it in them danger areas. They had 4 bodies back with putting the ball out of play for set piece throw-ins and whatnot. Is it a gamesmanship? You could argue, I don't know, but is it maybe a tactic nonetheless that if you can disrupt their play, we can cope with what you throw at us, especially holding on to a 1-0 lead with 15 minutes of the first half to go?
I think so. And we've seen it. Oh, that was a nice turn there by the Villa player. Credit where credit's due. A bit messy-like. Taking one for the team, as they say. We see the men do it all the time, and the referee has shown.
Chris, hold on. Shot by Villa player there. Sorry to interrupt. Go on, as you were, Chris.
Sorry, you're ahead of me, like I say. We've seen the referee, although he's booked one, he isn't, card happy. So perhaps, I think Villa could be saying, why we're not getting booked.
Yeah,
the players have a chance to get back and defend against us.
Yeah, and the one, I suppose you could argue whether you like it or not, the wonderful part about football is there's many other means to win a game, whether you agree with them, I think they're right or not. It's definitely a viable option. And I feel like Villa have obviously, they've sort of countered the way Spurs did in they've taken the sting out of not so much Leicester's aggression, but they've taken the sting out of the way Leicester are able to go about it. Because as you can see here, 2 players to 1, they are not tight close marking, but every Leicester player has 2 Villa players either left or right of her, don't they, Chris? And
yes.
You can see that's clearly working to some effect, because 33 minutes in and the chances are coming a little bit few and far between. Although there's something going on here, some aftermath contact to her Brian. She's clutching her face. I hope there's no blood or anything there. It doesn't seem to be. She doesn't seem to be taking any malice at each other. Her and 33 for Villa are shaking hands, maybe a few words. Maybe it was just a coming together of arm movements. Yeah. But I didn't see it on camera, Chris. But
it wasn't. No, it was off camera, wasn't it? But the referee seems happy with it.
Yeah.
And the fairness, the Leicester girl isn't, screaming and shouting for it. But just what we were saying then about the fouls, just as I said it, the site was updated. It was 4 fouls each, but Villa are now ahead with that one, 6 fouls to 4. But Leicester have actually had 6 shots to Villa's 2, but we haven't had one on target yet.
Yes, and that's probably the area of concern. You talk about, Premier League and whatnot, and you're saying you have to be clinical. You can't make these mistakes at this level, at whichever end of the scale you're talking about, either the defence or attack. And this we'll talk about. We felt that Leicester, although they maybe didn't deserve to be behind against Tottenham, didn't take their couple of chances beforehand, and found themselves not just 1 but 2-0 down before half time. And not obviously they won't want a repeat of that, being 1-0 down so early. But they have to start putting one of them 6 chances in. If you do that throughout the course of the season, you'll be harder to beat, and you'll do well. They need to start putting the ball in the net on more average if they're creating 6 chances in the first half hour, Chris. Otherwise, they're gonna.
Definitely. Yeah. And this is what makes it so annoying. See, there a header, but it was directed into empty space, and Villa got to the ball first. But I do find it annoying because how can I put this? If it wasn't for that penalty, we're not out the game, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, and of course it's something that Lydia will want to eradicate. She'll want them to not get caught out from losing the ball in a high position. They won't want to get caught a bit flat-footed, like they were in the build-up for both the Tottenham goals last week. They were caught flat-footed the throw in, from the quickly taken set piece. As Leicester try and come forward here, Villa do have the numbers, but it has left them sucking in a bit. So Simon gets a chance.
It's out to Simon again. They're making good use of Simon.
They really are. I think it was Howard that picked up the ball in midfield, but that's the thing. Villa have gone very deep. They were tentatively pressing from the start, and unfortunately, that early goal has allowed Villa the incentive to whilst not allow Leicester to come forward with a wave of onslaughts. They know that Leicester are trying to get that 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situation more than ever. And if they're attacking in a front line of three, if Villa can keep some midfielders more defensive, they're going to be always having the numbers in their favour. And that's where I think that these players will learn this over the course of the season and on the training ground, how to break that down more, because I think they're going to come up against it more and more if they're going to try and be on the front foot playing this way. As we're just at the moment, see, this happened against Spurs, didn't it, Chris? Leicester were ball forward, getting it out to the left and right, attacking the goal, not putting the chances away. They had a chance on the left, and I will get interrupted by my own sentence to ask you a question. As Leicester have a chance, it falls to Plumtree. She can't get the ball under control, stabs it away, cleared it ahead, won't quite fall out to Simon, and she falls backwards and they'll have a chance to clear. But I was saying that's the first time we've seen Leicester having to really pass it around and rework it, Chris. Not, their instinct to go forward was kind of well measured, but very much not what we saw in that opening 10-15 minutes of the game, is it? It has taken that sting out of it.
Yeah, but watching this game, you think that we are the better team in this game. There's no two ways about it. Or was that a foul?
No, Chris, I can't. Yeah, I think it's Leicester. I think it may even be an offside decision from where the free kick's being taken. But the number 7 for Villa was moaning that I believe it was O'Brien. He plays a risky pass there, gets away with that. She played a risky pass into Green. It was a heavy hit pass into, but Green did superbly well there to win the ball back. She's so short by Simon on the return, but yeah, and Leicester again though caught flat-footed there with Villa, and it's easily it back by Perfield, and Leicester are trying to get that aggressive flow going, trying to get in behind Villa and really keep that numbers either level or pushing the advantage, Chris. It just seemed that way, that they are trying to find a way to maybe put that press higher up than what it is. They have to go that because of how deep Villa are sitting back and trying to get numbers behind the ball.
No, but we're showing patience. We're not panicking.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you can be forced to work from the back, but you can't panic when an opposition does that. And then just in them couple of minutes there, you did see the Villa women add a bit of 6s and 7s, because Leicester have obviously maybe said, right, if we get the ball when Villa aren't quite set, we need to push back. And that's lovely work by Simon there. That delicate little touch has gone into the ball, and she was bundled over. The linesman flag stays down. But I believe the referee has get the free kick. The referee has get the free kick. Great work by Simon so far. For me, she is the catalyst of anything good for Leicester coming down the whip. She's having a brilliant game.
She is. And you've got to be honest with you. I know I did say the ref was reluctant to give cards, but that's not a bad thing. That isn't a bad thing. We don't like to see too many, as in John Moss, way. But the referee's having a good game.
Yeah, she is, and it's good to see. And I may have been getting my players confused here because it's Perfield at 23, it's Plumtree at 22, but Perfield across in. And again, Leicester dangerously trying to attack set pieces. Clearly something that Lydia likes to work on. We saw a lot of these balls into the boxes against Spurs. We see it when O'Brien
corner.
Yeah. When not O'Brien, sorry, when Simon gets down that right hand side, they love to put it in a danger area, and it will be Perfield here. She is clearly her and Green, maybe the set piece takers for Leicester. Clearly something they work on as an attack, set piece work, and again get the coach in the men's side as the corner comes in. Their heads go up. It's headed back across goal, but it ended up getting more looped. It's then overhead kick spectacularly across the box. It's forced out, but then a wild shot comes in, and we've got one on target, Chris. I would say that would be the number 8 Pike. She had a wild volley on it. It had no power behind it. More looping than anything, but a shot on target nonetheless.
Straight down the goalkeeper's throat, but nothing else on. Have a go.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's with that connection on the stretch, you're not really you're hoping more than anything that you get a better connection on it. But it shows again more alert. Villa caught flat-footed there and nearly what would have been nice and more deserved probably. But as it is, it's still 1-0 Villa. And now they have the chance on the right and they've got beyond the defence here. It's drilled back. And again, Leicester choosing the option preferred. Normally you'd see 2 or 3 players harrowing the player there to try and shepherd it out for a goal kick or a corner. But Leicester players, defence there, holding that line. So the pullback there, despite going for a corner, was in all facts reason to be dealt with by the Leicester defence, not allowing anyone to sneak through that gap there for the pullback. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, she filled the gap. She was off balance, but she managed to get it clear. Okay, it went for a corner, but there was a Villa player lurking just behind her.
Yeah, and if you can cut out the danger, the number 10 can take the Villa corner. The number 14's free, but well responded by the Leicester defence, and she gets her head on it there. The number, I want to say it's Tierney, the number 3 that's got her head on it there. I believe it was. Yes, it was. It's the number 3, Tierney. She got the initial block on it, Chris. And that's something as well you like to see. She didn't just get the initial block and stand there wondering what to do that. She was straight out to win that header and get it out of the box for Leicester to clear. Villa do have a throw-in on the right-hand side for it. But that's commitment to the cause, isn't it? There, Tierney chasing down our own clearance to make sure the danger was cleared out of the box.
We're so growing. I mean, I've been impressed with Leicester. I'm not going to lie, and I think if we don't get the way things are at the moment, if we don't get anything out of it, it'll be more disappointing than last week.
Yeah, I think it will. I think we talked about in terms of, I know they got a fantastic result against Man City, but you're talking plausible points are on offer here for Leicester, and they're probably now, Chris, you would be forgiven to think that Leicester would look at the clock now and go, right, let's not do what we did last week. If we're going to come in behind, keep it at 1-0, because, we saw how quickly they responded against Spurs in the second half, Chris. And if they're getting 1-0 here, although Villa are coming down this right, they're exploiting the same weaknesses that Villa are showing, but that is well dealt with by the Leicester player there. I believe it was Plumtree shielding that out for a goal kick. They'll just want to get through these 3 couple of minutes here, won't they, Chris?
They will. Just saying hello to Static. Welcome along, mate. Hello, I hope Static. You are well. Good win for you yesterday. 4-0 with the old London derby. I'm sure you're hoping for the same result from the men next week. But yes, we this is where it kind of went wrong for us last week. So let's hope we've learned.
So here comes the number 7 for Villa. This time Villa come out on top on a scramble piece. He hits it across the 6-yard box. And again, you can see by the instructions to the players there, they just put an arm out like that to let them know they've got it covered. There's no one getting in behind. And then it was cleared out for a throw-in to the boxes. It appears it took the deflection there. Great clearance. Even better clearance when you win a throw-in off it.
It is. I didn't think it was. I thought it was a throw-in to them, but I'll take it.
Comfort in defence, you would say that, Chris, there. Although, and you know what? It is a free kick. It is a double body check there by the Leicester players, although one of the Leicester players is also down with the Villa player there. But maybe a little bit there of not nice, taste your own medicine there, going in like that, Chris.
All for it. What's good for the goose, as they say.
It was Sophie Howard, and I believe it was our captain Whelan, not Susan Whelan, not chief executive, but Whelan.
I was going to say, my God, give her credit.
Yeah. Whelan, I believe it was number 10 Whelan and Howard that went in there, and it is a free kick. I'm not disputing that, but seeing what Villa have got away with and also got booked for. Good to see that Leicester are going to give as good as they get, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yes, That's a strange wall.
Just need to concentrate here from the set piece. It is initially cleared out, and Leicester header wins it, but it's still bouncing around the box. Number 20 takes a swing at it, misses the ball, and then it's cleverly headed out wide to the left there. That's brilliantly done, and they want the ball back out on the left-hand side, but it looks for a switch, but in the end, it is well blocked. Perfield tried to spread the ball quickly out to the right, but it was blocked by the Villa defender. And it is Plumtree with the throw-in. No, she gives the ball to Perfield. They're really making sure I know who's 22 and who's 23 on this, aren't they? They keep changing it over, the throw-in takers. They must hear me.
Yeah.
They must hear me. And
that was a bit of a strange wall for a minute. To start with, there was a big gap in the middle until they sorted it out. But we're forcing Villa back, and that's not a bad sign. I mean, we're into. There will be, I think, a little bit of stoppage time to be added on.
Yes, I'd imagine another probably into the last 60 seconds of this first half. But again, Chris, what you could say is it's something that was frustrating to watch from a Leicester perspective. But and obviously, it remains to be seen how the second half will go. But they've been able to keep that persistence and cause Villa trouble for 45 minutes. And even in the first half against Spurs, as Leicester trying to break here, last chance to attack surely for the Foxes to come in level at half time. But, you felt that Spurs had a game where they kept Leicester quiet for 10, 15 minutes. And Leicester can't allow that into the second half as they go to take a throw-in. But the referee does decide that's a Villa throw-in. I thought he had blown for the half-time whistle. But unfortunately, Simon tried to take a quick throw-in. But that will probably see it through to half-time, Chris. Just under 30 seconds left of 2 minutes added on, I believe. Unless Leicester can win the ball and press high, it seems like, unfortunately, yet again at half-time, the women are going to come in losing, but this time by a goal behind, which will be looked at. Although, don't speak too soon and jinx it, Brad, because the number 10 for Villa does get down the right. She's still got the ball. She's been harried and pressed by the Leicester players. It's Green that gets out to her. And then in the end, you talk about wayward passes going wrong. Villa, when they've been afforded the opposite of a Leicester mistake, are very generous in giving it back. And this goal kick here by Leveille will probably be the last action of the first half, Chris. Villa ladies winning 1-0 at the moment.
It is. Do you worry that, we've been on top, really, for most of this half, haven't we? Are we going to... And we've seen it so often with the men's. Is it going to come back and bite us on the bum?
Well, you'd hope not. Lydia will want them to be more aggressive, want them to make sure they're being more clinical in front of the goal in the second half. And you manage a game of football in stages. And again, you don't like to compare it to your last game, but people do say you're only as good as your last game. As Villa, the game's still going on, trying to attack down this left-hand side. That would be devastating to Leicester right now, but it does get cleared out to the right-hand side to number 2. She will deliver the ball back into the middle. It's attacked well, but it's cleared well by Plumtree. She can't follow her own header this time, but it is cleared by a Leicester defender. And there is the half-time whistle, just as Leicester get it clear, Chris. It is half-time. Leicester City Women's 0, Aston Villa Women's 1. But you talk about you can only be as good as your last game, Chris. Disappointing not to take any of the chances to have a goal in this half. Disappointing, of course, with the early setback and coming in at half-time 1-0 down. But comparing it to the first game, Chris, which ultimately became against Tottenham, 1 goal less. It's an easier task than they set themselves, going 2-0 down to Tottenham in the first week, isn't it?
We are still, obviously, have come out being behind, but I'm just showing the penalty again. It was naive. And she put the penalty away there with some confidence. My worry is that, and I felt this against, because it did happen against Spurs, is that we were on top for a fair bit of that first half and we didn't take advantage, and it cost us. But we will wait and see. Brighton are 2-0 up against Reading with 2 minutes left at Brighton, which keeps Reading bottom.
Yes,
unless we let in about 3 or 4 goals in the second half, Reading are bottom.
Well, that's obviously
0-1 and West Ham 0, Man United 0 after they had that goal disallowed. But yeah, anyway, watering the plants time, dropping the kids off at the pool, whatever you want to say. And we will be back in a few minutes. And Brad, I'll let you sum the first half up when we come back.
No worries, mate. No worries.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back after this, guys. Just taking a quick break.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
This is Paul McCartney saying this is where Chris is at. This is where it's at, Chris. Take it.
Broadcasting live worldwide. You're listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
Do not be afraid.
Wait, Batman, there's something I need to say to you.
No, well.
The music just turns me on.
Something is coming. Something big.
Chris, I'm Chris.
No.
How dare you break wind before me?
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
The best radio station in the world. Is right here, right now.
It was, excuse me, just getting a quick drink there. Yes, don't forget, please, it's something Brad and me are sort of branching out into. And we had a bit of a laugh last night. We're looking at the early start of all the 20 Premier League clubs and music that might be appropriate to their status. But do check Leicester Till I Die Radio out. 2 ways to find us: direct at Mixcloud, which is all one word, mixcloud.com/LTID radio, or you can go to www.leicestertillidie.com/radio. And it's a little bit different, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah, it is, just to say the least. It's definitely different. More different when my clock doesn't want to intervene with its part as per usual. But yeah.
If you want, hey, so how I know you're alive and with us for your clock going off.
Yeah, that's very true. It definitely is. It is something for that reason.
What time is it? What time is it, Mr. Fox? Good afternoon, Doug. How the devil are you, sir? Welcome along. Thank you for joining us. And just to let you know, something a bit different, talking about Doug, because obviously Doug is a Liverpool fan, is coming up hopefully next week. It's going to be a pre-record, and you'll understand why, but we're going to be having a bit of a Merseyside special. We're going to have Elton Wellesby on. Those of us of a certain age will remember him. He's a friend of the channel. He was the ITV's Jeff Stelling of his day in the 80s with the big match. He's coming on, and so is Stan Boardman, who's a huge Liverpool fan. I really am a bit worried, which is why we're doing it as a pre-record, as to where he will go. But that, doing it as a pre-record, we can let him sort of go loose, and apparently he hasn't changed. So it will be going out quite late at night, I feel, with that one, Brad.
Sounds like it will do, mate. Sounds like it's also one of them that you like to say it with the greatest things, but it's probably better for the best, isn't it? At least
yes.
when you can...
Yeah, it made me said, "Oh, can we?" It's a bit because they obviously don't live together. I said, "Could we do it like a little bit, maybe earlier?" And I said, "Well, let's do it as a pre-record, and then you don't have to worry, because I've no doubt we will be talking about our European cousins, as Stan likes to there." Yeah, I'm looking at it. He used to always make me laugh, so whether I'll actually get a word in or not, I don't know. But anyway, that's coming up next week, and I am looking forward to that. Looking forward to it indeed. Sum that first half up then, Brad.
Obviously, initially, you have to look at the disappointment, really. Leicester looked good in the first couple of minutes in terms of showing that high press like they did against Spurs, but whereas Spurs found joy attacking down the flank, so did Villa in them opening few minutes, because Leicester were given the warning signs when Villa broke the play up early as Leicester were trying to press high, and it led to a somewhat avoidable penalty, didn't it, Chris?
Yes.
To put Villa in front. No arguments over the penalty. It was a penalty. She got the wrong side of the defender, and it was an easy decision for referee to make. But after that, again, you make comparisons doing this work, and Leicester did not lose faith. They did not lose that intensity. They caused a lot of issues for Villa in that first half, and probably feel aggrieved, Chris, that they've not managed to find the back of the net and at least come in level at half time. Definitely just as deserving as they would have been if they'd come in level against Spurs the week prior. It's been a good first half. It's just them things that we will maybe have to rely on a bit more time, a bit more experience, where we're just a bit more clinical in front of goal and a bit more switched on when teams try and be fast and on the front foot and pressers. Because if you want to say anything over the course of that first half, the goal was a little bit flat-footed. And again, we've created several chances, Chris, but we're not talking about the goalkeeper as of yet having to make a notable save. And I think that's the one thing that Lydia will want to press forward, that they've got to start being more clinical. So one good having these chances.
Just to interrupt you there, because I'm just watching the halftime entertainment on the FA Player, and they do this. They did it last week as well. They have a load of players.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah, and they ask them a load of questions. And I've got to be honest with you, how can we take the women's game seriously when one of the questions is, what would you rather fight, a duck-sized rhino or a rhino-sized duck? I mean, I'm sorry, FA. If you want us to take the women's game seriously, don't be asking stupid questions that kids of 5 and 6 ask each other in the schoolyard.
The problem is, though, Chris, it's something that has integrated into the men's game. You see the players giving their interviews and that, and doing the moments for fans. It is something that's a bit of a trend in football, not just women's football. But I do see what you're saying there. They're definitely but it's nice to see a little bit.
We're not asking for the men's game to be taken seriously, but we're asking the women's game to be taken seriously.
Oh no, I understand that, and rightly it should get taken seriously. It's football. It's not a restricted gender in any way, sport in any shape of life. But I do try to understand it. Probably needs to be getting to that degree before you start with these things. But it's nice to see. I do like to watch these videos when they're posted up on the club's personal website, because I noticed there was probably 3 Leicester ladies in that video, and I think there was 3 from like other clubs as well. So I'm sure they are on there.
I mean, I like to see it, and but. Yeah, and I would. It's great to sort of, because the more you know about the players, the more you can sort of empathise with them, etc. But I just think ask them what your favourite film is. Ask her. I remember I'm a huge ABBA fan, and they were saying just before they were splitting up, and they were getting a bit fed up with ABBA anyway. They were on Noel Edmonds' house party or whatever, and it was asking like, "What's your favourite colour?" And it's like God's sake.
Just to cut you up here, Chris. This is quite interesting. Now I don't know, mate. I haven't been able to go to many of the men's games in a while due to where I live and that. But earlier, the Spurs team were early out of the dressing room in the first game of the season. And I can't hear to know if the Leicester ladies have come out and back onto the pitch.
They haven't at the moment, no.
I've just noticed that not only are the ladies out early on the pitch, but they were doing a warm-up. The coach had them in the middle. She was in the middle. There was in a circle. That looks very wrong with what you're doing there, mate. Camera, Jesus. But no, she was getting them on the toes and getting this, it's a circulation flowing, getting the blood pumping, getting them on their toes there. And it's interesting to see, because it's the second game we've watched the season. But obviously the Leicester manager, gas coming up there. Leicester manager Lydia is not one to get them out there and want to do that.
We've seen it in the men's game as well. Quite a few the men's team. Oh, Villa have made a substitution.
Yes, it's the number 7, not Jens Lehmann, but it is the number 7 Lehmann for Villa, I believe, who got the yellow card. So it might just be a precautionary sub more than it is a tactical sub. But it is the number 7 for Villa, who's come off as they get us underway in this. Oh, no, they don't get us underway in the second half. Something's not appeased to the referee's liking there. Maybe an encroachment too early by the Leicester players, or offside.
No, it's a fairly free kick to Leicester. I don't know what's going on.
I believe it's a retake. I'm just not sure if Plumtree overstepped and encroached into the Villa half before the ball was tempted because the restart with a kick, and yeah, she holds a run there this time. She doesn't risk it, and we are now officially underway. Chris, Villa getting us underway.
Yeah,
on the
I'm
ball.
saying here, good evening, and to the big fan of the Ginger Mourinho. Did anybody see LCFC's brilliant tweet earlier today?
I didn't know Pochettino died as a Ginger. I don't know why you're bigging up my manager in such a big way. Your Portuguese one isn't available, is he, Ant? That's why you went with it. That's why you went with Dyche Penny Penny.
Yeah. I think what Ant means is the fact that Leicester put a tweet out asking for people to send comments in, and that they would put the comments into the match day program, which probably wasn't the right thing to do the way things are at the moment.
Yeah, possibly not. Although we just saw there, Chris Green nearly stole a march, and again showing instantly from the off that Leicester are trying to steal a march and get in behind and get the numbers up on Villa as they were trying to do in the first half. Going down this right here, and that's cleverly won there. That's O'Brien winning a clever free kick on the right-hand side. And Chris, we didn't get a chance to talk about it at the end of that first half, but that was really a key area of strength from Leicester, wasn't it? It was Simon in the first half, number 13, that was getting a lot of joy down that right side. Clearly an area of strength, as it is Perfield that will be taking on yet another set piece, clearly the set piece taker for Leicester. But interesting to see that... Leicester continuing to just predominantly press on that right-hand side, Chris.
Yeah. Let's just see what they're going to do with this
free
kick.
In straight, it's fumbled by the goalkeeper. No free kick gone, ping-pong ball. Comes out to the box. Is that Pike? I believe it is. Pike whips a ball in, but it's over here. It's no trouble for the goalkeeper, and she falls on a loose ball. But again, set-piece panic seems to be Leicester's way.
Yes, but did you not think we panicked a bit there? I mean, the ball was fumbled, and unless all the Aston Villa players were going to jump up in the air, there was no way that ball was going anywhere near the goal.
It's just one of them. It's overhit. The intent was there. I just think she maybe got caught in two minds of, do I try and bend this into the top corner, or do I float it into that? And in the end, when you do neither one or the second option, and then Perfield does some great defensive work to give Villa a throw, just in line with the 6-yard box, at the edge of the box, sorry. And then it's casually given out for a Leicester throw. Thank you very much, Villa. It's very nice and considerate of you to award our great defensive work by giving us a throw. But yeah, it's one of them that you do. You're only human. You get it wrong.
I think it probably came to her. I don't think she was necessarily expecting it.
Yeah, and you never know. You get a bad connection on the ball, and sometimes it can benefit you because the defender can't defend it well, and a slice deflection leads to a goal. But as it is, we're playing a little bit of giveaway both sides in these opening few minutes as Villa tried to go down the left, and again it's to nobody, and it's back with a goalkeeper a little bit cagey in those first minutes, just shaking off the cobwebs. I'm sure the players won't like me saying cobwebs. Because of their fear of spiders that I heard a lot of them to say they had as a fear in that prelude in the press match in the video.
I'm so grateful you went down that road. I was worried where that was actually going.
I'm over the professional, Chris. How dare you question my integrity?
I'm not saying it, but you had me worried.
Yeah. Now then, that is turning down for Leicester. She's on her haunches. She just maybe had the stuffing taken out, and maybe a little bit of a twinge. The physio has come on. Came up on your screen on the statistics one a bit quicker than it did here, but turning down for Leicester. So she's on her haunches. Hopefully it's just a little twinge. Looks like she's knocked her arm, maybe jarred something there. She's getting it stretched out, and there's a bit of a team gathering as the camera pans to the crowd. It's got caught napping beforehand. Where's Wally, mate? Can you spot him? And I'm not on about one of us lot being at the game. I'm seeing a red and white striped person. There's Waldo. We know we'll find him.
A few of them just still making the way out after they've had the prawn sandwiches.
I tell you what is lovely to see, and you mentioned it. I think we talked about it on another show. I can't remember which show it was, but Villa and Leicester fans sitting together there. It does seem quite, obviously maybe that might be doing with split families as well, helps that situation. But, in attendance they're very mixed, the crowd of Leicester and Villa supporters, isn't it?
And you would hope long may it last.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like she just seems to be limping just a little bit on that left leg as she walks off there, Turney. But
Ant says he's scared of spiders. Is that because you're 4'0" Ant, and to you they're like your height? And
I think he pays them rent.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. It's like Land of the Giants to you, isn't it? Oh, he loves me, does Ant. He'll come back with something now about my age, I tell you. But no, I did say they're very physical side, Villa.
Yeah, and it's caused Leicester to be very mischievous on set pieces in terms of creating a lot of chaos in the box, and not quite the joy that we're hoping with a goal to it yet. But you feel that if Leicester keep persisting that way, and a ball will drop kinder to them, and you just need Leicester to obviously take that. You need to take that initiative when it comes along, because so far, I mean, great to see that Turney she is back on the pitch, but Villa just trying to get a foothold back in that game, and they did that a little bit in the first half. And Leicester just need to make sure Villa don't get too comfortable in the second half. As that ball, play it back to the goalkeeper, it's right across her. She just recover her ground, chased down very well there.
You love me, Ant. You love the banter.
I think you come in there just because you like it that much. I agree with you, Chris. I think he just enjoys his put downs as much as anybody.
I'll come back about something about your age, but wouldn't know if you've read it or not. That's a fair point, actually. I do need to go to Specsavers.
Yeah, but again, Villa trying to play the ball out, but Leicester keeping their shape well, keeping their 3-player system going, as we see the subs one up here, and it just forced a needless pass out wide to allow Leicester the ball. It has gone down the right, and she's been shepherded there by all the Villa players and wins the throw-in to Villa players. Not done with any maliciousness, according to the referees. We see the Leicester sub-players there going back to the bench. So Lydia making sure the players are on their toes if she feels they need to change this up and get after her a bit more, because since that break in play for the injury to Turney with the treatment, it's allowed Villa just that few minutes, hasn't it, Chris, to get the foothold in here and take the steam out of that early game.
If it plays out, I mean, again, just easily tidied up there by the Leicester defence. Played herself in trouble, but she got a throw in. I'm worried about this coming back to bite me on the bum, but I'm not worried that when they do seem to get a little bit of a foothold, it isn't for long.
No, and you feel that if Leicester apply themselves the way they did in the first half, as Howard has taken the throw in here, that they won't keep that going for the next 40 minutes. They won't be able to defend and squeeze Leicester out. Lydia will change things up, as that's cleverly won there. She frustrated them with a few cheeky keep-ups there, I believe Plumtree did, and it won Leicester a free kick. But it clearly is a ploy. You talk about Villa being a bit more aggressive and on the front foot. They're obviously not, whilst they can get away with it, they're not bothered to go in with a bit of a meaty challenge, try and get away with it, and stop Leicester getting in behind and getting that numbers advantage. And Leicester found a way around it once without the success of a goal to come from it. But they have found ways in behind that Villa line. Just hoping Leicester will do it again. And of course, Lydia will willingly change it up and change the shape if she feels that's the best way to do it, Chris.
And it's funny that as soon as Ant comes in, we get Chat 69XYZ coming in.
Well, I told him to stop putting his OnlyFans account in here.
I know, but Yeah. And Anthony.
Green's trying to create some joy for Leicester, looking for gaps, but it doesn't appear. But again, Villa, the makers are thrown down fall, allow Leicester to get away with a careless pass, and Villa forcing them back though. They've been a bit more forward and assertive. Villa in the first half they were sitting back, and credit to Villa forced it all the way back to Lavelle in goal, who's forced to play that out wide.
You know what? I'm really surprised after that. Sorry,
Villa had the ball back here, Chris. Sorry, they're just building there with the number 6.
Said goal.
No, there's a cross into the box. It's not. It's left. It's left for Simon to deal with, and she does deal with it. But there's no free kick given against the Villa foul. I thought it was a foul there, and I thought that was a great foul. But Leicester have the numbers. They do get it clear. And to be fair, has she kept that in? She has. That's great clearance up front, but the Villa player does shield it out for throw. I thought it was a foul. But both
I said so. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game last week, but I did see bits of the 4-3 Villa Man City, and this is a different Villa side.
Yeah, well, Leicester has shown that aggression, and maybe Villa are used to playing the side that first came up. And the chance here, though, there's a chance of the ball's dropped towards her, but it's well shielded out. Leicester need to be careful because they've been caught napping a bit flat-footed. Maybe that warm-up has woken Villa up because they were doing that for a minute, for about 30 seconds to a minute to get themselves going. Maybe that's got Villa going because Leicester are under a bit of pressure here for the first time in this game. You feel, Chris?
Yes, they are. This is probably their best, Villa's best period.
Shielded out. Yeah, it definitely is. I would agree with you here, Chris. Again, they win the ball here, but it's tied up, and then it's back to the number 2 of Villa. And again, you have to look at that warm-up and think it's definitely got the spring in their step. No pun intended. As Leicester are, without overcommitting, trying to force Villa out here, and they're trying to shepherd this out, but it keeps coming back to Villa. The moment they're on this right hand side, the number 20 dances her way back into the middle of the park. It's still at the edge of the box. Lovely little link up play between number 8 of Villa. She spreads a wide ball out left. It's brought inside by Villa, and they are forced back, just like Villa forced Leicester with the ball back. This O'Brien hustling well, gets a little shoulder tap on her there, and number 11 goes down. It is a free kick. I believe it's number 11. It could be 21 of it. No, it's 14.
But again, I do feel that is one of those, what we were saying about Villa fouls in the first half. It stopped the play. It's given Leicester a chance to, get back into position, grab a breath. So I don't mind that. They were just doing what Villa were doing to us in the first half.
Yeah, they are. And it's nice to see a little bit of it. And it's done with, I know it's given away a free kick there, but it's not as dangerous as some of the Villa challenges we saw. It's just what you call it's a clever foul, isn't it? Although Leicester have to deal with the ball in the box. Number 10 goes down. No appeals for a penalty this time from Villa players. And Leicester are trying to break out here with Howard. She holds the ball up superbly, and she gets the ball out wide. And that's out wide, and it's further out there. And now they're holding the ball up on the right-hand side. Overlap. Turned in, and it's just a ball played back towards the green is a little bit miscued, a little bit off there from I need to see that shirt number because I keep seeing it and say I remember it, but it was either Tierney, I think it was. She just played an almost nothing ball into green, and unfortunately Villa get the throw in to break that up.
It's again, it's like if they just got that right, you're thinking, here
comes Villa on the left-hand side. They've broken the offside trap. Leicester have 4 women chasing back. Villa only have one option in the middle. It's played into it, and it's a well-worn corner in the end. Villa down the numbers. Leicester thankfully had the numbers back to deal with it very well. Thank you, and for the tactical foul. That's exactly what it is. It was a great block in the end by, I believe it was Howard. She got a great block on there, Howard. But Leicester nearly caught napping there, Chris. And you talk about us giving the ball away. Villa have rewarded us the opportunity of having the ball back before. Well, that was the first time that it nearly wasn't so kind for Leicester, as Villa have a corner here, Chris.
They do. Let's see what they're going to do with it.
It's crossed in. The header's dealt with. It's cleared away by Leicester out onto the left on the right-hand side here. Be hit straight back into the area by Villa, and it bounces kindly into the box, but she was maybe expecting number 20, who she probably didn't realise was on her haunches at the time, to have made the run in behind Leicester defence, and it is cleared up by Perfield for Leicester.
They have to be very, very careful. This is sustained pressure. They haven't had this much pressure for this long, Villa, at any time in the game, and Leicester are going to make sure that they don't do anything stupid or silly.
Yeah, they cannot afford to concede a goal here in this little bit of pressure. They need to see it out. We are an hour gone at the King Power Stadium. It's still Leicester City women's 0, Aston Villa women's 1. Chris, we're at that hour point mark now. We know a certain Brendan Rodgers would maybe can be considering this Greek mythological word substitution. We know Lydia's not as afraid as he is to make changes in the here and now. is there any position changes you maybe see Leicester need to do to try and maybe change the way the flow of this game's going at the moment?
No, and I'll tell you for why. It is all Villa at the moment, and Leicester are negating a lot of what Villa are throwing them at. And I think if you make a change now, you've just got a bit of like, oh, right, who's doing what? What am I doing now? Where am I going? Sort of thing. Because there's no point at this point in changing like for like. So if when Villa are on top, I don't necessarily think or when the opposition's on top, I don't think it's necessarily a good time to make the changes.
How long would you give it though? If Villa do continue to dominate the ball, or so if broke up play, almost Leicester-like in the first half here to put on the front, Chris, how much longer does this before Villa turn the notch up and win themselves a free kick in a very dangerous position here, Chris? Now,
yes,
it's all well and good to defend it off while Villa aren't doing much, but if they sneak a second goal here from this free kick as a Leicester player is down injured and we have a break in play here, does Lydia have that position now where she maybe goes, okay, I'm going to give it till 65 minutes. I'm going to give it to the 65th, 67th, 68th minute sort of area before she's forced into a change, because you don't want to get into a decision where them substitutions are made too late. It was to number 14 Green down there, but Villa have a dangerous chance here. Leicester will be hoping that they can get away with this and not find themselves a further goal down, because then you feel like, although it be sod's law, again, Leicester are punished for not handling the situation as well as they could.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is why they're paid all the money, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it now personally, but I would have my plans in my head.
Oh, great save, tipped onto the post and out for a corner. Good save by Lavelle. She dealt with that.
Yeah, it was a good one. That
Sorry, no, Chris,
it wasn't particularly hit hard, but they have. Obviously we've seen those sneak in. As Michael Owen would say, had she not saved it, it would have been a goal.
I know, right?
But no, yeah, it's always difficult, isn't it? It is always difficult. Certainly not now when it's a corner.
No. Dead. Worst time to do it is after set pieces. Leicester City here tried to break away with Plumtree on the right. Shoved off the ball, though, fairly in the referee's eyes and opinion. She's told to play it back. There's a tackle that comes in that makes the ball can't go back that aggressively, but it is back now with a Villa goalkeeper. I don't understand you got to have the intensity. If not a like for like, could you maybe see a shift in the shape? Maybe try and get more bodies in that midfield area to maybe combat, Villa being able to sit back, because we talked about in the first half where Leicester did struggle for that 5-10 minute period. Villa played a back line of four with a midfield line of four pretty much only a few yards in front of them. They're trying to do that in the attacking sense here, that's well cut out by Tierney there, and it's Green trying to get Leicester on the front foot, but they're forced back. Do Leicester maybe need to then match the bodies in the midfield or try to outnumber them? Maybe it's just, if it's not a substitution.
At the moment, it looked like we're playing a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, that's an awful ball that they get away with there, playing that back. That was very loose there.
Yeah, that was. And whether we sort of... I mean, let's have a look what Villa are playing a 4-3-3. So maybe we need to put more up front, maybe go for a 4-4-2. I'm a fan of that formation, and bring on an attacking midfielder.
That might be the way Leicester have to go to it, as Tierney mops up that there. I just feel like as much as it's not a bother, if this continues, say, to the 75th minute, Chris, and it's still all Villa with the ball and possession, not necessarily doing much, they are holding on to a 1-0 lead. And we do know that split-second concentration, turning a 1-0 to a 2-0, could prove pivotal in this game, as Leicester are breaking down the right-hand side. Some great footwork. It's because I was trying to read the number there. Footwork there by Howard, but unfortunately, in doing so, she allows Villa to counter. And again, Villa trying to use that overlapping system to get the numbers in the steal of the march. Trying to play the ball through the middle there. It was a good attempt at the ball, but it was well read there by, I believe it was Green, possibly Pike. Both share the same likes and similarities in not just the hair colour, but the hairstyle. So,
I think, it's now coming up 65, 70. There comes a point when you've got to say, well, okay, we're taking a bit of a battering, but if I don't do it now, like you say, I could miss the boat. And I think that I like changes at half time, to be honest with you, because I mean Villa did it, and I think you've given the opposition something to think about, because they're used to, they've had 45 minutes of the way you've played. Then suddenly you've got a couple of substitutions coming on. It's like, oh, right, who's where now, doing what sort of thing.
Yeah,
I know Brendan doesn't like that, and Lydia hasn't in this game, but yeah, it's 65 minutes now. Like you said, there comes, or like I did say before, while they're on top, but yeah, there has to be a decision has to be made soon now.
Yeah.
But I think there's no point changing it like for like, because at the moment we're just not. Well, Villa are on top.
Well, here come Leicester in. They're trying to get him behind here. It's the number 8 Pike trying to get in front of the defender. The defender falls down as if she's been shot, but Leicester have won a corner. Great work by Pike. And that was just getting a few more bodies, Chris. Something you said not more than a couple of minutes ago, as the physio has been ordered on by the referee there to look at the number 15 who's down for Villa. And just there, Chris, it's something that they were doing well and getting success with the half. For the first time, I would say this half, Leicester had the numbers not in advantage, but at least even, where it was two tracking back defenders, and Pike made the ground up. And despite the injury going down here, the player going down taking a knocking injury, it will, when players resumed, I believe, be a corner to Leicester. The Villa players gathering in the box, and so the Leicester players. So yes, it will be a corner to Leicester. That was the first sign of Leicester being able to find the way through and maybe find that extra. Yeah, maybe we are going to see a change in at least shape, if we're not going to change personnel by the looks of things, because that's the first time I have seen Pike, who was quite involved in that first half, really be that far forward and a bit more aggressive.
She hasn't had the chance, though, has she? Villa literally pinned us back in this half.
And
maybe match them and even go 4-3-3 and give them something to think about,
It may be something that Lydia considers right now. Although as the player goes off for Villa, Leicester do have a set piece, and we know, like, as successful as they are, they've got the men's curse in set pieces. They've been very, very good from set pieces, haven't they? And they got a goal from it, and in the game against Spurs, and they've looked threatening from set pieces. So they'll be looking to take advantage of this rare opportunity in the second half, and they'll be hoping to keep this pressure up. But they need to turn this into pressure now. They can't just have blitz, one opportunity here, one opportunity in 10 minutes time, and one opportunity at the end to try and grab something from the game. They've got to do what Villa do now. Perfield's got to put in a good ball. They've got to get a goal from this set piece or create a chance, and it's got to be the start of an area of control for Leicester, you feel, don't you?
I was just looking at the ball girl as it went past. Then she absolutely looked bored out of her mind. Thanks very much, Talk.
Comes in, it's attacked it in their post, edge of the box. It comes out. The referee's got his hand up. I'm not sure what he's signaling there, but let's try and get it. Oh, and the Villa players push out well. Talk, great to have you in, mate. Love the work you're doing here, but Villa now trying to punish Leicester, get the second goal. It's played into the box, and it's well dealt with initially by Leicester, but it does come back to the Villa player, and she works the ball out to number 20, and a shot deflected. Is it a corner? I think it is. Took a deflection off a Leicester player. No, it is a goal kick. The shot was didn't deflect it. It just ballooned up. Oh, she absolutely got right underneath that, high, wide, and not at all Hampson, as they say in the world of football.
Yeah.
But just are we getting some substitutions? Yeah, it seems like both sets of teams making a change. It'll be a double change for Leicester, in fact, and Villa it'll be a triple change. In fact, you speak.
Yeah, 70 minutes. What did I say? Yeah,
70 minutes. A change is coming on for Leicester. I cannot see any of the shirt numbers to inform you it is, or see on the screen. Villa will be making the first change.
No, second for Villa, because they made one at half time.
No, they'll be making the first change of this role. Not that I meant as in it. Their second change, but first change. It's I've seen number 13 Simon come off. I haven't seen who's come on. It is number 20 Perfield coming off, and number 4 coming on for Leicester. It's number 2 that's come on for Leicester. God, this official's made a nightmare of this on the screen because the numbers haven't matched what's been shown. O'Brien has come off for number 7. I don't have the names for the numbers for the substitutions, unfortunately, Chris. So you have to have that off, but it's Perfield off for Bott, who's number 4.
I will tell you what they are at the moment. Just got a compliment there for you from Talk.
Cheers, man. Cheers, appreciate it. Too good looking to get any more praise. Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. And Bott came on against Tottenham, Chris. So we have seen her before. Poor pass. Intercepted by the substitute number 2. Does come on, and the ball's back with Villa against her, and she takes a shot. It loops miles over the bar. Thankfully for Leicester, and this pressure has to relent. We've just seen 3 changes. We know that will take time, but Chris, Villa looking to kill that off and not allow Leicester time to settle into what seems to be a new shape. Maybe looking to match Villa, like you said, like for like.
Yeah, and it's one of those. Like, be careful, don't go to sleep just because the substitutions have been made.
Yes.
And that can happen. It's, you can switch off. That's the word they were looking for. So they've got to make sure they don't do that. But 20 minutes to try and get something out of this game. And it is possible. It is possible.
Yeah. And before kickoff, they would have taken it, wouldn't they, Chris? We were talking beforehand. A draw, despite being at home, would be a very positive result. Especially when
I picked 1-1.
Yes, you did. You certainly did. My prediction of 2-0 Leicester went out the window after about 2 minutes. So unfortunately, I won't.
Just to confirm the substitutions for Leicester, number 13 Simon was off, and Vance came on, number 2. 23 Perfield went off, and Bott number 4 came on, and number 27 O'Brien went off, and Flint number 7 came on. So 2-4-7.
Natasha Flint, I know, is a forward for Leicester. So Leicester clearly going for that attacking prowess, looking to get more bodies going forward. They obviously know that Villa are trying to do to them what Spurs did in that last 10 minutes of the game last week, where they frustrated Leicester and really nullified Leicester's ability to get bodies forward. So Natasha Flint, great goal scorer for Leicester throughout her career with the Foxes, looking to get the goal.
Years ago, if you knew if a number 2 was coming on, it would be a defender.
Yes, I know. It's a wonderful world, isn't it? Football with shirt numbers these days. As they break up play again, and this is Green surging forward. She's got right into the Villa half. They're at 6 to 7 here. She has option to her left, option to her right. She doesn't go it quite alone. A shot in anger in the end as the substitute number 7 tries to get on the end of it.
It wide.
He should have, and go down, and the referee does not give a penalty. I think she was on the stretch for it. She was looking for it, and now.
And now the referee blocks the Aston Villa player going forward.
The referee gets involved, and that's just typical.
Looking for it. This break here, just to confirm, Brighton women did beat Reading women 2-1. And Brighton are off and running. Man United are winning 2-0 away to West Ham.
Stole it here, Chris. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's start here. Edge of the box. Can they work a chance from it? He's tried to play out left. Howard gets it. She didn't know where the ball had gone in the end. Villa do clear it out to this right. Sorry, Chris. Go on. Update.
Sorry. Say Brighton won 2-1 against Reading with 76 minutes gone. Man United are 2-0 up away to West Ham, and despite having another goal chalked off at the start. And half an hour into Chelsea Man City, the big game, I suppose, of the weekend, it's 0-0. And then they've got the Merseyside derby this evening, at 7:15.
And frustration starting to tell with this Villa dominance. And that's been absolutely misread there by Howard. She's had a great game all game. It's misread, but gets away with it. The shot from the angle in the end straight at Lavelle. But again, Chris, maybe the frustration starting to creep in of Villa being allowed time on the ball, because that poor pass there into the midfield, overhit. There was no chance she had a control on the ball, and you saw her throw her arms up there and say, "Why are you giving me the ball that easy?" Leicester maybe need to change things up. That's here, but here we are on the right-hand side. Leicester getting forward, getting more forward. That substitutions, getting the bodies forward, allowing Leicester to be more on the front foot. The clearance again comes to the edge of the box. And that's a soft free kick, I'm afraid, official. That, you've been a really good official for 70-odd minutes of this game. Haven't had any quarry there. But the number 20 doesn't even appeal for it. You've gave the free kick for the minutes of the contact. But despite the worry there, in the last 3 minutes, Chris, Leicester have been able to get near the Villa back line, which is something they haven't managed to do this half yet. So the shape and the players slowly taking effect for Leicester as they try to get themselves level in this game.
Indeed. And it needed to be done because, like I say, Villa were taking it over.
Yeah, and you have to be careful in them situations that you don't do what Howard did and get a bit frustrated, and then you make a mistake that gets Villa on the front foot. As again, talk about mistakes and commentators saying things at the right time. Villa coming in at the left-hand side of the box, deflected off the bottom of the shoe of a Leicester player, a boot of a Leicester player, and that's a little bit fortunate, Chris. Great defensive work, mind, but it took the deflection, it took all the sting and direction at the shot, and Leicester can come forward. But they need to be careful, Chris, because they are getting undone on this left-hand side when Villa come forward, a side that led to the goal in the first half.
Indeed. And we're not using the left side like we used to. That was badly controlled. Well, it started off to be badly controlled,
Yes,
and now
beautifully
she's got
controlled
all
by
Ronaldo on us.
Yeah. She showed you up there with her commentary's curse there by that.
I was about to say that was a bad header, and then she as they turned into Ronaldo, bless her. Number 14 that was.
Yes, that Green. That is. She's been a standout player for Leicester this half, as well as the free kick winner there, Plumtree. She just won another great free kick as she gets herself into the box. And it will be Pike over this. It was Green in the first half, who was our set piece taker, but Pike did take one, and she looks to be in charge of this one. Although the number 2 substitute is also over it.
Yeah.
Vant. She looks like it, but is it going to be Vant? It is Vant, delicately flicked on. Header's looped in, but it's cleared. I think that's more of a clearance header than anything. It is. And Leicester, thumbs up there, appreciated the delicate illiteracy of putting the ball in. But Leicester will have a free kick, a corner here, which Pike will take. She has the option short of Vant. Will she put it into box? Both arms aloft. Leicester need to take advantage of one of these set pieces to get anything from this game. It's a good ball into the 6-yard box. Unfortunately, there's not enough pressure on the goalkeeper. And despite being wrapped in bubble wrap, as goalkeepers are, that was a fairly easy one in the end. Right area, just not the right amount of Leicester bodies in there, Chris.
Yes, indeed. I'm a bit worried now. Time's starting to run out. The clock's running down. But again, we've got to look. We are probably one of the favourites to go down. But with 2 performances, we've not been. There's not been a 6-2 in there or a 4-0 or anything like that. And you can take heart because, like you say, it was always going to be a season, I think, where we were fighting relegation again. And so you've got to look at the performances, and there have been 2 very good performances.
Yeah, you have to say that. And despite the frustrations, and again, it's something they'll learn over time. And the more they play in this division, the more experience they'll get to it. As Aston Villa take a snapshot there, it does come to the box. I'll just finish this up here before I go on. What I was going to say is to try and get down the right. No lunging tackle. She forced by it there, but she didn't give it away, and it's a good block. But the Villa player do get a header in. It is safely and harmlessly wide for a Leicester goal kick, Chris. As I was saying there, they do things are going to learn. They're a bit naive. They're not as experienced as some of these players, with the greatest respect, and they are, as you said, right, and they're going to be favourites to be in that relegation fight like they were last season. But Reading. Oh, look, there's a chance here. Vante, she's held the ball up well to get down his right-hand side. Someone having an attack. It's straight in. That's great defending in the last minute. She's appealing for a corner. She does get it. She can't believe it. I thought that was excellent defending. I am very much with Jones there. It's the first involvement I've really seen her in an attacking sense this half compared to the first half, Chris. Chance there for Leicester. It's been given as a goal kick. I thought it was a block, but apparently not. And these are just the little things that will pleasing on the eye to see. They just need to be taking these half chances, Chris.
That's what I was going to say. How often have we said chance for Leicester? And we've got to start taking these chances because otherwise it's going to be a long, hard season.
It is, and that's a bit of a late challenge. Advantage played here for Aston Villa. The ball out.
She had given the ball away though,
but that's well defended and well headed, and then well cleared up by the substitute. Do
you remember at the start that we were saying in the first half that it was a bit last-ditch defending by Villa?
Yes, it has definitely swapped roles, hasn't it, Chris?
Yes, yeah, that is definitely Leicester at the moment.
And it's the nature of the beast in a sense. And again, you talk about, of course, Leicester won't be relying on this forever throughout the season, but in terms of 2 defeats, you'd rather lose one, potentially 1-0. There is still 10 minutes of us to go in this game, and Villa have a chance on this right to potentially make me eat my own words. Again, comfortably dealt with initially. The first ball, the second ball, just about dealt with, and then it is brought out by Leicester, but they give the ball straight back. Leicester are losing these games 2-1 and 1-0. Have you just seen something I haven't?
No, it was that clearance that went straight to a Villa player.
But, Reading losing 4-0, was it an opening game of the season? And, and teams losing heavily. There's ways to lose games as long as there's ways to lose games. So as long as you're only doing it with minor mistakes and you can iron them out throughout the season, Leicester just need to find a way to have a change up, because Villa have been allowed to do for the majority of this half what Spurs were able to do in them last 10 minutes. Spurs had the comfort of a 2-0 lead, and that maybe allowed Leicester the luxury of, Tottenham getting ahead of themselves. And when Leicester got back into the game, they had that flurry, didn't they, against Spurs? But then from about 75 minutes onwards, it was frustratingly easy for Spurs in the end to see it out. And just hoping here, with about 8 minutes to go plus stoppage time, as Villa look to break down this left, as they've been very successful. The block, great block in the end. Bit careless, so a bit loose on the feet. She gets away with that, and you have to be more alert to that. And she hasn't got away. She hasn't learned a lesson. She hasn't cleared the lines. The number 20 for Villa is breaking into the box. She gets on the inside. You cannot commit a foul in there. Sliding challenge met by the Villa player, and her teammates bail her out. The substitute, the number 2, twice they're nearly costing Leicester there. They haven't fully got away with it.
Still haven't got it clear.
Still, I do not have the ball away. And in the end, what saw Leicester come to defeat could end up costing Leicester not just defeat, but a second goal here. They need to stay switched on. The substitute isn't working. The new substitute, I believe it's the number 2, isn't really doing it. She's not been alert. She's very flat-footed. Something needs to change, Chris. Time for a change of formation. Is this go bust? Is this go high press line? Is this the opportunity now where Leicester lose it 2-0, throwing anything at it, or go all out trying to get the 1-1, Chris? Is this now the turning point for Leicester?
We've got to, again, it's, I mean, look, again, there, Jesus, somebody give her a shout. She kept it. That was more through luck than skill. I mean, she just had it. She 2 players on her, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to play this through.
Yeah, she's magically worked some space. And now number 14, Green, has a shot, but it's blocked. And again, if anything, these half chances have been from the edge of the box and well blocked by Villa. There hasn't been clear-cut chances we're talking about today like we did so more in the game. Oh, that's well stolen back, well run. It's cut back, and it's just missed the toe of, I believe it was Green running, and then sometimes
it's like, okay, you're taking shots from outside the box. You've been doing that all game. And when you did it in the first half, you were kicking it straight at a defender, time after time after time. 83 minutes into the game, you haven't learnt anything. You're still doing the same thing. Shooting from the edge of the box and not getting it past the player that's 3 foot in front of you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you can put that down to the difference in quality between Leicester and Villa in terms of their experience, Chris. And I know it might sound like a thing to do, but Villa clearly have said that if a team's going to come at us like that, just like Spurs do, we're going to have to sit behind the ball. And, this is the most difficult part, I think, in football as a manager, is how do you get past 11 players that sit at the edge of the box? Let's just try something there. A great dig. Oh, the keeper's not currently got it, but she has just then. She's got away with that one. It has taken nearly 85 minutes for Leicester to create a really good chance there, Chris. Just so I was saying that. But you see there, Leicester have 3 players forward. Villa have 5. It nearly didn't matter. She nearly took them all out of the equation with a brilliant effort there by Green, I believe it was. But this is where Leicester need to prove their mettle and prove the worth. And it's the only way they're going to get results in this business from losing positions. And then that does play a factor, because you have to say it does play a factor that it's 2 games we're talking about Leicester getting into the latter stages and they're still in losing positions, as Villa could be on here. No offside flag on the Villa play, and she scampers down the left and she gets past the play. But again, Leicester getting bodies back this time, getting the blocks in. It's scrappier from Leicester, but the same, just as effective as Villa. But you have to say as well, the game situation, although yours has a goal on it, mine's behind. Is it a Villa double their lead? What's happened there? Yours said goal. I've not seen any form of goal. Well, we'll see what happens. It's just going to
say goal on mine at the moment.
It pops up there, and the ball has sprung away from number 10, and it is the number 9. She is through. Yeah, and there's the CeeLo, Chris. The dominance showed, the pressure that Leicester allowed upon themselves, and this is the naivety. This is something where Lydia and the ladies are going to have to prove their worth in this division, because they could not find a different method and means to get behind the Villa back line. They half threatened, but not nearly as much as they did in the first half. And you know, Chris, you said they can have the ball if they're going to do much with it. They didn't have to in the end. And yet again, your bar is ahead of FL, because Leicester are making a substitution, it seems, way too late. That's a Brendan Rodgers substitution, if ever I've heard one. But again, allow them to control the ball, and they've got a second goal, Chris. And again, Leicester are heading towards a defeat.
And at the end of the first half, I'd have probably said it was unlikely. And I'm sorry, I think they got what they deserved.
They have, unfortunately, Chris, because Villa have just patiently waited. They've gone, okay, you're going to allow us the ball. As it is the number 8 Pike, who I didn't see a lot of in that half. It's Goodwin that has come on for her. Too late in the situation to change it. And this is what I talk about, Chris. You was fine and content with it in 60 minutes, and as everybody would have been. But maybe that's where you need to still march and not allow it to get to that point where you go, right, now I need to change it. You need to allow them players.
No, if it had been me, I would have changed a few things at half time.
Yeah, I think that's maybe where you need to look at what your opposition does, and you need to have the preparation. And I just feel like that's where the lack of it has come. And again, we are, unfortunately, unless something dramatic happens here in these last 2 minutes plus added on time, we're going to see Leicester City women fall to yet another home defeat. And whether chances-wise they deserve it or not, you cannot allow anybody at any level the freedom of the park, especially at home, Chris. And at the end, whether they created a lot or not, Villa have been allowed the freedom, have doubled their lead.
Yes, they have. And I just somebody needs to get onto and it was a lot in the women's Euros as well. If you're going to have shots from outside the box, make sure you're not hitting it at your defender that's 2 foot away from you, because they've been doing it for 88 minutes. And is it any wonder we haven't scored? No. You know what I mean?
No.
I just, take a shot every now and again, but I don't think we've actually had a shot on goal that hasn't been from outside the box.
We've not on target. We are had a few headers as Villa make some late.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying those shots.
Yeah, and again, you're talking 85 minutes. It was until, and I could have been wrong. It was definitely Green or Pike who came off just a minute or two ago, but she had that shot, and that's the first time realistically, despite Leicester's shots and chances and half chances, despite that. That was the first time she was forced into a notable save here. And again, unfortunately, these mistakes that they need to learn from quickly, and they need to tighten up and tweak. And Lydia needs to find a plan B, despite the positives that they'll take away from certain aspects of this game, Chris. 89 minutes just gone on the clock. It's game over in terms of result, unless something spectacular happens. What is it that Leicester need to be doing that's different? Because it's 2 disappointing goals that were avoidable in a game that again Leicester had the majority of, as this cross goes straight into Lavelle's hand. And again, she's not had much to do herself.
No, I mean, push the Villa player there. Do you know, the thing is that's frustrating is that we could have been winning this 4-2.
And again, Howard plays a absolutely awful overhit ball out for a goal kick to Villa. Yeah, you're right, Chris. They could, but again, and the question is, how badly are we expected to struggle this season? Because if Leicester fans themselves of the game are taking last season and they're expecting to be going, we've got to just do better than, say, a Reading. And I'm only using them as an example purely for their 2 bad opening day defeats. Are Leicester going to be doing exactly the same as last season and going, look, we just need to kind of get 1 more point, 1 more goal, 3 more points. It doesn't matter. As long as we do better than one of you, that's what we need to be doing this season whilst we spend 12 months working on, developing. Because it's the same mistakes and the same frustrating.
Sorry, just to interrupt there. Chelsea women have gone 1-0 up against Manchester City women. So It makes the bottom 3 in 12. All of us on, well, this is the bottom 4. All of us have got no points. Reading are in 12th with -5 goal difference. Leicester 11th -3. Man City 10th -2. And Everton, but they've only played 1 game so far, is -1. The Man City are well down there in at the moment. Obviously, their game's not finished.
Yeah,
it's not been going on very long.
And Man City did have a torrid start last season, and they do have an issue. You'd struggle to find maybe in the longevity throughout the season, Man City will still be down there. But again, maybe it's the condition of the league only having 12 teams in it, and the format of the Women's League, that maybe this is something that Leicester will have to learn over a few seasons. We might have to become painted with this frustrated picture, because whilst Lydia's done a fantastic job on these girls, some of these have been here for a few seasons now at Leicester as well, especially Flint, as we know, Chris, that maybe we're going to have to just be patient and let these players develop over this season again, because whilst there was some great aspects last season, same mistakes in 2 games, is it a case of not wanting to change the shape, or is it maybe a fact that we talk about difference in experience and quality on the pitch, Chris, as we're well into injury time? You've not missed anything. I'm not commentating on nothing for you guys, but we just said maybe the restrictions of quality means that they're not able to have that plan B work so effectively as they do when they seem to start games.
I mean, they have made some signings, which is more than the men's side have.
Yes.
I just think they need to decide on on this striking. I mean, in fairness, yes, we've let 2 goals in, but I don't think the defence is a major problem, to be honest with you.
Oh, ball hoofed in, free hit. Why didn't she go for it? She didn't seem to anticipate the drop. There was a chance here for consolation. It'd be nothing more than that if they scored here. But again, maybe a little bit of out of ideas. Are Leicester restricted ideas? Free header! Great save by the goalkeeper, and that was a chance to get a consolation. She had all the time in the world. It was a completely free header. It's forced to save, but again, we are talking 86 and 93 and a half minutes. It's the only 2 troubling chances that Leicester have had. A long distance effort, straight comfortably down the throat.
What did I say? What did I say?
Yeah.
Look, love, you're not going to score from there because you've not, we're now in the 94th minute. You've been trying to shoot from there, or the team has, since minute 1. And it hasn't worked. What makes you think that you're going to get one there now? Lydia needs to get them in and say, look, stop doing that, because all you've done is give the ball straight away where you had plenty of time to control it. You're not Wayne Rooney. You're not Thierry Henry. You've got to accept that you're not going to get those. Yeah. And Lydia needs to sort of, because that's all I've seen today, that we have been absolutely rubbish up front. And now Villa are just making subs to wind the clock down. Yeah. Good afternoon, Leicester fan, by the way.
Yeah, and whether you think it's easy, surely you just do it more bodies. Again, we have to look at the club as a structure, and we we give reasons and or excuses or whatever term you wish to use for certain things when it comes to the men's side. Well, you know, Lydia could be, and rightfully you say, going, look, this is an inexperienced side. This is a side that won 2 games, if my memory serves correct, last season out of the full set of fixture list. Yes, we've been able to make signings, but
there it is.
Nothing. Yes, I find it strange that that's ahead of the considered live play. That's
I know it always is, mate. You'll never beat my graphics, no matter how hard you try. My graphics will not be beaten.
Well, unfortunately, they're a 2-0 defeat. It's finished at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City women's 0, Aston Villa 2, and frustration in the sense that maybe, and again we say yes, they've made more signings than men's, but you've got some players on loan, you've got some new faces, you've not got, with the greatest of respect, an in-depth of quality there. Maybe Lydia is also, we have to take it on board and a pinch of salt when we watch these games and go, well, yes, whilst that's frustrating, we might have to like it and lump it and expect these mistakes and expect these plan Bs and these changing formations to not bring the best out of what they're trying to do. Because what you also have to do, and it's the reason they won the game against Man City, is you have to credit to Villa, because they started it in the first half. And realistically, Chris, after that first 20 minutes, Villa went, okay, you know what? We'll play boring. We'll stick 10 players behind the ball. You try and get past us. And when you can't get past that wall, a frustrated side, and maybe they're not ready to use a plan B yet, or maybe, thank you very much for chiming in with your opinion. My point is, maybe it's a plan B that needs to be worked on the training ground to better execute, because if you only go one way, we've seen both Tottenham and Villa now handle what Leicester can throw at them when it comes to holding on to a lead. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if maybe the next game Leicester take the lead, how they go about their business if they get in front of the game. But until then, this is clearly an area that Lydia and the women will need to and have to work on in the training ground.
Indeed. And I'm just trying to get I'm distracted by your clock there. Let me just have a look at what the stats were here. I mean, possession, it doesn't mean a lot, does it? 44-56. Shots, 14 from England, 15 from Villa. But of that, only 4 of ours were on target. And that's a pet hate of mine. But only 6, in fairness, of Villa's were. Corners, we both had 4, and fouls, we actually beat them on fouls. We committed 11 fouls to their 10. So from a neutral's point of view, they would have looked at that and gone, yeah, good game, this.
Yeah, you would look at it, and it was momentarily, it was quite scrappy more in the second half, but it was a fairly decent game to watch. Leicester contained Villa for large parts of that game. And until that second goal, we're always in contention to try and get a result out of it. The biggest grievance that you'll have with the game overall of the 90 minutes is that inability to find that next step to cause Villa a second headache. Because once they figured out Leicester and figured out how best to nullify it and stop Leicester, whilst Villa didn't create a hatful of chances, Chris, it's not like we're talking about Villa hitting the post and the keeper making 3 or 4 fantastic saves. They nullified Leicester's going, well, if that's all you've got, we'll either see this out 1-0 or we'll go and nick a second goal. And in the end, Leicester got the latter of that happen to them.
Yes. Manchester City up next.
Oh, it does not get any easier.
Well, it doesn't. We're in the top flight, but then, like you said, they're not at the best of start at the moment. They're only one place above us, depending how it goes. Manchester City women are not Manchester City men. We should say that, but yeah, it is frightening. I mean, it does remind me, this Leicester City women team, just to finish on, of Nigel Pearson's men's team. When we're doing the Great Escape, because we're not losing 4-0 like Tottenham did to Arsenal, or Reading did, whatever it was on the opening day. You know, we're not losing 6-2 like the men's team are. We're losing to, and I think, like I say, that. Well, I mean, there was a super goal, as we say, for Tottenham. There, we just they were better at defending than we were, because of course, you know, we let the 2 goals in. But we do really, for me, we do need to sort our shot taking out.
We do, and look, we've seen it in this division, and I've seen a fair few goals. You know, it's not bad hitting them from range. We know, but unfortunately as it is, women are restricted, and we do see a lot of goals going the corners and the height of the goal, considering most heights of a natural, you know, an average height for a woman. We do see a lot of goals go out of their reach, and it's, you know, it's not goals you'd naturally see because of a height issue in terms of size of the goal and an average height, like I said, of a woman goalkeeper. But you can take them chances if you create the space to have them. You look at the goals that Spurs scored against us, and the second Villa goal today. Yes, she went in, she drove it into the box, but she had the space before that to have hit it earlier, and she would have had less pressure, less bodies in front of her. You can have them shots when it's kind of in front of you. I just feel, and this is what I mean by a combination of whatever Leicester don't have at their disposal, like other clubs do in this division, and that's the experience and the quality of players, is they don't seem to have that switch to change things up, to be able to break down a defensively stubborn side or a team that switches to defensive shape. Because as we saw against Tottenham, we huffed and we puffed, Chris, but we barely tickled the house of Villa and Spurs over 2 games, let alone blow it over to get a goal. And it's something they just will be desperate to work on and improve before that game against Man City.
But indeed. But I mean, like I say, I do get frustrated with the shots, because I'm just thinking, you know, if it's not going to work the first, the second, the third, the fourth time, it's not going to work the 10th, 11th, or 12th time. But take that out of it. Great performance. You know, you look at the stats. It was an exciting game, probably more so for the Villa fans and the neutrals that were watching. But you know, we were in there, we were fighting. If only the men would show that. And we know we've said that for 2 games now. And that's all you can do, because, you know, hopefully the goals will come. But better that than us playing like, you know, no disrespect to them, but Rochdale, and getting stuff that they are in there fighting.
Yeah, and they've got to keep their heads going. Again, we said they'd take the positives from it, and you could tell that despite the defeat against Spurs, they played in a positive manner, and they played it throughout. And again, it's just working on that second stage, working on that ability to not just put the subs on, but make them changes, be able to recognise a change. And Lydia's learning as well as the women on the pitch are learning. She's learning to apply. This is her first senior job. This is her first full season as well. Now she's been given a start. She was given the ability to make the transfers and bring in players that she wanted in as well. And you have to take everything on board on that. And you know me, because I don't like it. I also never liked it when a boss, if I was ever late, would go, "Oh, what's your excuse this time?" No, I'm giving you a reason, not an excuse. An excuse would be, "Oh, I went back in time and got lost in a time period," and making up an excuse. That's an excuse or a lie. But you know, having a genuine reason. And Leicester are afforded the luxuries of a Man City or a Chelsea, who do superbly well in these divisions. They're not got the quality that the likes of the Tottenham girls ladies can bring in, and the Man City ladies can bring in international stars. We're talking at these clubs, and that all has to be taken into account. And again, as long as Leicester do it in a good manner, I'm more than positive that they'll get better results than they saw last season. I certainly don't see us waiting 8 or 9 games for our first points to appear on the board, but we may have to accept these naiveties are going to leak into our games, and we may have to accept that this is a second season where hopefully, fingers crossed, Chris, with a bit more ease and a bit more comfort, they do it. But it may be a case of, and I'm only using these 2 games as an example because I can only go off what's in front of me, but Leicester fans going, look at Reading. At least we're not -6. At least we're not 0 points if Leicester get a couple of points on the board. So when and that is essentially what we're after. Leicester finished 11th by scoring 1 more goal than Reading coming in the season. I wouldn't care as long as it meant the ladies had another season in there.
Indeed. Well, Brad, look, thank you very much.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, it's the same whether I do the men's or the women's. We're going to get a win somewhere. But like I say, thank you very much. Just let me put my teeth in. Your details are in the chat below, but just tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Fulltime Focus. That's Fulltime Focus, all one word. There's no hyphen in there. So if you just search Fulltime Focus, you'll find me on Twitter. If you follow me on there, you'll find a link to my YouTube channel, A Massive Opinion. It's going for a big change at the moment. So all I'll say is if you like lists, you'll like the show. I won't say too much because I'll be doing a video for that in a few days' time to introduce that. But yeah, check me out there. You can also get me tweeting, waffling, absolute rubbish on there if you enjoy my reads. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Chris. I've enjoyed it again.
I'm on here a lot as well, and we're always grateful to have you.
Definitely, mate. John Moss signing out.
Yeah, I will see you on Tuesday for the prediction show.
Yeah, and I'll predict I'll still be top at the end of it.
We'll see. All right, mate. Thanks very much. Take care. All the best.
No worries, mate. I'll see you then.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to Brad there. I am waiting for him to get his sheepskin scope, so he goes a full Monty. Oh, sorry, I should say a full Motty. See what I did there. But I know. I can't even be bothered to give myself a wah. I was up all night, so I'm going to go and have a bit of a doze now. But thanks very much for watching. Do follow Brad. Just his details are in the description below. Please give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Please smash the likes if you have subscribed to us. And don't forget the radio station, Mixcloud, all one word, mixcloud.com/LTID radio, or go to www.LeicesterTillIDie.com /radio. But the mixcloud.com/LTID radio is the direct route to listen to the shows, because when we do them live, the radio shows, they're always there to be picked up on. What are you doing tomorrow night? Hey, don't tell me you're watching England. Come on, it's Germany. We're already relegated. I mean, do you want to watch that seriously? I tell you what, instead of watching England probably get stuffed by Germany, playing the same players that we know we're going to be playing every single game, tune into Leicester Till I Die TV. Set yourself a little notification. 7 o'clock tomorrow, Jordan Blackwell from Leicester Mercury / Leicestershire Live. We'll be talking all things at Leicester and what's going on. And then at 9 o'clock, I'll win from BBC Radio Leicester. We'll be doing exactly the same thing. So we're going to get a lot of thought on where Leicester are going, well, not wrong. Well, yeah, it's all going wrong, basically. But thank everybody for watching. Thank you if you've been commenting. It is much appreciated. Please take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you can. And I'll see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And keep a lookout for the Elton Wellesby and Stan Boardman show. That's going to be a cracker. Here we go. Good night, everybody. Take care. Stay safe.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die TV. They think it's all over. It is now.